Recorded in the pits of Detroit, Michigan. Your ass is listening to Radio Underground. Shit.
Don Morocco was not on steroids there.
No, those. You're supposed to have a freaking garden hose vein sticking out of your shoulder. Totally natural.
Mine's in my pants.
Yeah.
Bam.
This vein's bigger than my dick.
Kojak's back this week.
There's a lot of dead people in this match.
There's a lot of dead people. Like
You got Bundy,
Bundy's dead.
Rude,
Rude,
Andre. I don't know if Morocco's alive or not.
I was just going to say the same thing.
So does that actually
Bigelow.
mean that we're going to die soon, too?
Well, we didn't do steroids.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't do steroids.
Yeah. Well, steroids would be welcome to your body compared to what you put in it.
Well, it's kind of the same. Well, whatever. I see these kids today drinking their Rippets.
Scissorp and stuff that they...
Scissor.
Yeah, if you do rip it, it's worse than full-on narcotics.
I know a nice young man named Fisticles that drinks Rippets like you breathe air.
He's going to have kidney stones.
So bad.
No. He's
Maybe
convinced
not, I
that
don't
he's
know.
fine.
Yeah, sure.
He should be fine.
Wait till he passes that first kidney stone.
When you say that, you're okay. I'm fine.
I'm not judging. I put more things through my fucking liver than
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be positive and stuff. Oh, Morocco was almost pinned.
My eye's been twitching all week, but if I ignore it, I'll be okay.
Yeah. I've been
I
slurring my
realize
words
that
and stuff, but I'm fine.
I realize that I'm dying soon. So I need to have fun.
I like how I wheeze when I laugh. No.
So I mentioned this to you earlier, Lord Despot, but seriously, if you get the WWE Network for 1 month, the free trial where you don't have to pay for it, there's so much content on there.
I might watch some of it.
And some of it's really good. Most of the behind the scenes stuff is better, but
And
it's free for like 29 days. Why not do it?
you see, the thing is, like when we did that wrestling podcast, a lot of people hitting me up after that were like, "You got to check this out." They don't realize I don't watch modern wrestling at all.
I didn't watch anything modern on this.
Nothing.
You guys did a wrestling podcast?
Yeah,
Yeah, that was the first one you weren't here
because
for.
I figured it was the time to do it because I know you just wouldn't care at all.
You just wouldn't. But there's that Monday Night Wars thing is no joke, 20 hours long, 20 episodes. They're all about an hour long, but they've been really good. You should check it out if you get a chance.
I will.
They I forgot how popular the Rock and Sock connection was.
It was, man. I remember that.
Remember when they did when Mick
Foley?
did what?
Mick Foley?
Yeah.
Mick Foley and The Rock, yeah. Mick Foley did the Rock, This Is Your Life thing for his birthday that one time, and he had his coach come out and his ex-girlfriend and all these people from his life. And it was like a super long segment, like 25 minutes long in the middle of Raw. And Vince was like so pissed off backstage because it didn't stop. But Russo was like, this is great, we can't stop this. And Vince is like, we're never doing anything like that ever again. The next day they got the ratings, and for that section of Raw, it was the second highest rated section of any wrestling show ever on Monday night. It was like 9 million people watched that part.
Yeah, it was like Stone said, though, WWE was always more about the entertainment and
the stories.
outside stuff and the stories, and WCW was just the action because their bookers couldn't write for shit.
No, oh my God, so many different things, like the whole Goldberg thing we talked about earlier. But what really kept them going was everybody loved the cruiserweight division. They had so many cruiserweights in WCW.
Yeah, they did,
and it was probably the most popular part of the show. And then all of a sudden they were like just pushed to the background because everything had to be NWO.
I was so drunk that night, I pulled a Kojak, though, and I was like, they didn't really push them guys and feature them. That's what they were known for, was the cruiserweights.
Well, but they only did for a while, and then when even the cruiserweights also
the drunker you get, the more antithesis of reality you get.
Well, but you weren't,
and I did that too. I totally took your spot right from you.
After a certain
everything
point,
I said was a complete and utter bullshit.
But no, it was actually true after a certain point, because that's why they started having people defecting, because they told Jericho, it's like, you're just a cruiserweight, you're not going to do anything else. Guerrero, Malenko, Benoit, and other guy, Perry Saturn, all left at the same time, like the same day.
slowly dying
they
inside
screwed
right
it
now.
like they did everything else. They just didn't know what to do with it. And like, you're part of the Ravens flock with what's his name, Kidman, and then you're going to be part of the NWO, but you guys are going to start the Latino World Order. This is going to work, and none of it worked. They just didn't know what to do.
No, they ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
It was like a fucking kind of like a Disney movie where they just put out too many of them in a year, and like the third and fourth one are terrible.
Well, except for
2?
Mighty Ducks 3. Mighty Ducks 3 was good.
Frozen 2, yeah.
I literally just watched Frozen yesterday. It was yesterday, yeah.
Did
For
you
the
just
first
decide to
time
watch it?
ever. No, I was forced, but because I happened to mention the fact that I never watched Frozen, so I was forced to watch it.
That was your way of saying I
Oh.
want to watch it, but blaming your daughter for putting it on.
Wait,
Well,
you're-
I did sing "Let It Go" in my head 100 times.
Your 21-year-old daughter made you watch it?
Yes,
Okay.
Frozen.
it's because she was like, "Oh my God, Frozen 2 is coming out." I'm like,
That's cool, but
So?
doesn't mean you need to watch the first one. I mean, my daughter loved Frozen when it came out, but, she's
it's like
12 now.
but it's like one of the things that you shouldn't watch, like wrestling, but you have to.
Oh, I only watch old school wrestling. I'll watch the old
I
stuff
watch old school Disney, Frozen
There-
1.
There's a
from
few things
2013.
That's old school.
I guess
that's
there's
true.
some things that you have to watch because you don't want to get like so out of touch with pop culture. You're just like a nihilist asshole.
I
be
tried.
like, because then when you get into something, people are like, you're like, you know what's pretty good? That old American Idol show. You ever watch it?
Yeah, and people think you're about to like go on a murdering spree because
Yeah.
all of a sudden you just flipped completely.
Yeah, like so you got to kind of keep up on some stuff because you don't want to
Yeah.
be.
I didn't make it to the end, if that's any consideration.
You want to know how it ends? They all die.
Somebody freezes.
Many.
See?
Yeah, but you just watch.
Called it.
Dude, you're missing the best part. The ending's the best part. I watched a documentary the other day. I was going to tell you guys about this. Did you ever see 3 Identical Strangers? It's about these guys who were triplets, but they were separated at birth. And they just happened to stumble upon each other. One went to college, and the year before, one of the brothers
Yep.
had been there.
So it was a small
I heard
town.
about that whole thing from. I was listening to Gavin McInnes. He
Yeah.
talked about that whole show. That whole.
Dude, it was fucked up, though. They finally, the one brother found the other one because of a friend from college. He's like, no, you're this guy. He's like, I'm not that guy, I'm telling you. And then he introduced them, and they looked just alike. They acted like they were born the same day, adopted out of the same agency, and they were twin brothers. Then they find out there's a third one. And it's like, same thing, born the same day. And then they keep on going through stuff, and they can't figure out why they weren't adopted out together. Well, because it's easier to adopt one kid out than it is 3 at a time. But most of the parents were like, well, we would have taken them all if we would have known there was 3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, well, they say that
seems
now.
like the right thing to say.
yeah,
right.
they said that
We're
20
dealing
years
with
after the fact.
3 freaking kids.
But then,
I legit would have because I'm such a softy. Like I gotta have both them girls, the girl cats. I
then
can't
they
be
find out
separated.
that
They're
they-
not cats, Mike.
it was actually an experiment. There was
3 kids, I would be 10 times more.
They find out from somebody at the adoption agency this was all an experiment. They adopted one kid out to a richer family, one kid out to a middle class family, and one out to a poorer family.
It was a
It was a
nature versus
government
nurture
psyop.
experiment. I didn't want to cut you off.
No,
but
yeah, exactly. That's what it was.
Government side up.
But
Now
it-
we're talking.
But here's where it started getting weirder. They adopted them all out to a family who had a daughter who was exactly 2 years older than them that had also been adopted out by that agency. So the agency put these girls in the house first, and then 2 years later put the boys in as part of the experiment.
well, let's put that agency on blast real quick.
They're closed down.
You mean the government wrapped it up and
Well,
put
they,
their funding somewhere
they
else?
well, that's the thing. Some of the people on the board of this thing over the 80 years they're open. Harry Truman was on the board. One of the Rockefellers. There's all these different influential people.
So
that
it was,
were part
it
of
was
it.
just basically the Illuminati fucking
and-
playlist.
it-
the
and-
council, the Council of Foreign Relations
and then
had adopted
you're thinking,
agency.
oh, it's like, well, it can't get any worse than this. And then the one aunt comes
Then the
out.
Rothschilds got involved.
These are all Jewish kids. Those Jewish families and Jewish kids.
No.
Well, that's all they did was adopt out Jewish kids with this agency. But then one of the great aunts comes on.
better.
Well, the great aunt comes on, and she's a Holocaust survivor, and she starts talking about it. She's like, "This is like an experiment the Nazis would do." Well, guess what? The psychiatrist who was leading it was a German-Austrian guy
Oh man.
What's his name? George
who
Soros?
was with the Nazis at one point, but he left before the war started. And he did this experiment on all these Jewish families.
So he gets away with war crimes, comes over here, gets right back to it.
Now, in his defense, he came over like the year before the war started. So he wasn't there. And it wasn't really him because he was still too young. His dad was a psychiatrist there, worked for the Nazi party, but they left before the war started.
Jesus Christ, I got to look into this.
It's on Hulu. If you have Hulu, check it out.
Yeah.
3
Oh, I
Identical
will.
Strangers.
I like
I
people
don't have Hulu,
people that
but you
won't
have
believe
Hulu.
it. I just don't believe that there would be any kind of Nazi scientists involved in our government. And then how do you think we went to space?
Yeah, Werner von Braun.
Werner von Braun is a full-on. You got to use evil for good sometimes.
Yep. It's just, it was
The
really
Germans were
good.
clearly miles ahead of us and the Soviets. Miles ahead of us.
And it was.
They didn't have the resources to fight everybody off.
It seems like a lot of it was them trying to test whether certain things were hereditary, like depression, alcoholism, all this other stuff.
What?
But
They found like everything's pretty much born into you.
yeah,
What are you guys talking about?
but that was the thing. Some of the stuff.
Stop it, Ben.
Some of the kids that were part of the experiment, though, they can't get access to the records. This thing has never been published. The guy died 10 years ago. They can't get access to his records, and they won't be unsealed by Yale University until 2066 when everybody's dead.
You know what my favorite part about this conversation is,
Yeah.
Brian? The hand chops you're giving.
I know.
Those are the serious hand
The
chops.
most animated I've ever seen.
When
you.
you
It was really
are making a point
Interesting.
of that level, your hand chops are Bruce Lee level.
Yeah, it's
that-
like 1-inch punch type shit.
Listen to me.
It was really good, though. If you guys get a chance, check
Sounds
it out.
amazing. Sounds right up my alley.
Didn't after World War II, wasn't there like an agreement between us and Russia? It was like, we get the scientists, but you get the prince.
Yeah, that's the normal way to think about it because that's what's said out there. But Russia actually got a number of scientists as well. We got the top brass, which was a great idea to put the top brass in charge of our government agencies. Perfect fucking idea. And then Russia took all the file work and all the paperwork, but they couldn't handle the paperwork. They needed their scientists to work it out. So we gave them some scientists as well, so they can work out the paperwork that they all took. But we took the top brass.
The top side, yeah.
That's why Russia was technically, they got the space first.
Yeah, that's true.
And then all of a sudden we landed on the moon because Russia got the space first.
Yeah. The Germans, they're pretty resourceful people. They got bombed from end to end. They started it. They totally deserved it. They got bombed from end to end, and then like 2 years later, they got like the best cars. You get a Mercedes.
Well,
Yeah.
they're gonna fight the entire European continent practically.
And us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna fight that, and then they're gonna fight another war on their backside, which is Russia,
yeah.
which is like the worst war to fight during winter, and they marched them right
Oh,
in
my
there
God.
in wintertime.
Yeah.
Napoleon could have taught you that lesson in life,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
never worked.
I think even Genghis Khan's like, let's wait for July. We're
Yeah.
gonna do July. We'll do it.
Yeah, the only reason the Genghis Khan didn't kill them all because he died before it happened, before July came.
It was, yeah, terrible.
Yeah, but I know those experiments, like they did like way fucked up experiments, like
Oh yeah,
like they gave soldiers LSD till they lost their minds.
well, that was us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm talking about, I know
He's
we
talking
did
about
that.
us. Yeah.
Talking about us.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Germany still.
Yeah.
Oh, Andre the Giant won?
I also like the composite eyewitness drawings of the stealth bomber before it became declassified. Like, look at this, and it looked like the exact guy drew it perfectly, and everyone's like, "You're a fucking loon."
Yeah, that's
He's
not
like, I saw
real.
this shit, man. I'm out here on my ranch. Some reason I can draw perfect.
That's the one thing
I
about
mean,
conspiracy theorists like that, throughout history even. Like me, I'm a firm believer in Graham Hancock and his research.
Eternal Graham Nation.
Internal Graham Nation. Now, I'm a firm believer in what he's discovered because a lot of it's been proven to be somewhat accurate, to late with Göbekli Tepe and all that.
Yeah.
It's setting back some dates.
No, we know everything about everything. Period.
There's nothing new to learn at all.
Well, the Younger Dryas is one of the best parts, I think. It's proven it. The North Dakotas, the Scablands, all that. It's proven the Younger Dryas to be actually a real thing.
There's Scablands where all the non-union workers live.
No, it's a TV show. It's into the Scabland. But like
So I see the signs. That's what I'm just
classic
saying.
history.
I'm non-union. I'm just a joke.
Classic history is it won't be till he's dead and 50 years later that then they'll start recognizing things, which I don't know if that's good or bad. Obviously, the person doing all the work has an issue with that, saying, hey, my work's legitimate, quit laughing at me and quit calling it bullshit. But If they spend their entire life being told that their work is crap and it means nothing, they work harder to prove themselves right. If he was justified right away and everything that was ever said was like, hey, you're right, you're great.
Come by.
Everything you
Okay,
do,
that's-
everything you do is
Well,
great,
just-
and your work is proven as great. Most people kind of sit on that throne for a little bit, but when the real hardcore guys go out there, throughout history, they're told their shit. Just it doesn't match up with what everybody thinks, and you're wrong.
Yeah, most of the time they're not recognized in their own time. It's after they're
Exactly.
they're posthumously.
So does that actually make
this
it work harder?
podcast will do ratings for Dick present day.
But
But
wait
when we're long dead,
60 years.
We're long dead.
we're gonna be like fucking Tesla. I mean,
Which I really think is a good thing for the scientists or the archaeologists and everybody else out there that
Well-
when they really do some hardcore studying and they're told that their work is bullshit, they work harder for it and get to prove it.
well, if you think about why that happens so frequently, it's pretty simple. People that invest their whole life and thousands of hours in studying a particular subject, and then they realize that everything they did was horseshit because this guy comes along and disproves it.
Yeah.
As an egotist man, which any scientist would be, I would be if I was a scientist, I'd be like, this is bullshit.
Exactly.
I mean, like this.
It's
That's human nature. Like, this is total bullshit.
It is. It's utterly that. But
It's
on
like-
top of that, you put in an entire like academic field that all believes the same thing.
Oh, and there's
It
money too
teaches-
from grants.
Yeah.
And if your whole department loses grants because Graham Hancock's right, you're going to be like, he's a liar.
And being
You know,
that like Graham Hancock individually is against the entire grain of the entire planet of academia,
Yeah.
that's a huge loss for academia. You're damn right. Like that Hawass guy, Zahawi Hawass, the Egyptologist from Egypt.
Yeah.
That guy is the forefront of fighting all that archaeology that Robert Schoch did and everything else.
Uh-huh.
Which Robert Schoch has some pretty good freaking evidence that he's right. But you're going against the board, the historian board, the Egyptian board of Egypt, and most of academia.
Yeah, and Egypt, even Greece, which is actually technically a Western country, they're real strict about, even Greece, Egypt's even worse, but who they let in to study shit.
Yeah.
And if you're I seen a guy, Ali Steeds is his name. He's like a, and he was trying to do the, one of them fun shows. He didn't try to prove that it was true or not, but looking for Atlantis, right?
Yeah.
And he's out in the Mediterranean, and like there's like Greek boats. What are you doing? Like
Yeah,
aggravating. He's not even like
I saw that same episode.
yeah.
That's
and
weird.
in Greece, it's not. You're real quick to be like, well, the Middle East, they're going to protect their own, blah blah blah. But in reality, Greece, the same way. They don't want you to do shit.
They let
you
him
know?
dive, but remember, they said, you can dive. You cannot touch anything you see on the floor,
Yeah.
on the ocean floor. They would not let them touch any
I'd be like,
artifacts on the
I'd
ground.
like turn the camera off, and I'm like,
You're not just fucking with academia.
Except they
at
have
that-
boats sitting around watching to make sure you don't do shit.
Yeah, because you're not just fucking with academia at that point. You're fucking with tourism.
Yeah.
And when you start fucking with economies and governments, and people
Yeah.
people that line their pockets with some stuff, you're gonna come into some resistance. Well, one of the most proven points is that Göbekli Tepe thing, right?
Yeah.
So they discovered Göbekli Tepe, which proves it back to 10,000 years, whatever. It is dated to 10,000. The minute they proved that dating, they covered it with boarding, everything. Like the whole structure now, it's only 10% discovered.
Yeah.
But the whole structure is covered from the top. So you can't even see it from a plane flying over, nothing. They covered it all and kicked everybody out, and they're doing their own studies now.
Keep the mic on your face. You're going like, I want to tell you something.
Let me tell you.
Actually, you should probably give him the mic stand.
Yeah.
Frank,
I'll let you have the mic stand tonight. You can do whatever the hell you want.
I got to start doing the chops with one hand.
Yeah.
That's-
Listen here,
your
man.
point. So the audience know-
Tepe is 10,000 years old, and they cover
that's
it.
the only way the audience knows you're serious is if and that
You got to
know.
hand chop that shit.
Hand
I
chop.
do the point. I'm a pointer when I'm mad or passionate.
I wave my hands. About, hey, you gotta listen. I'm like a drowning swimmer.
Yeah.
hey, it's
I
George
watched-
Animal Steel.
Which I watched this video, and I wish it's one of those things like I've watched way worse stuff. But you ever watch something that like, okay, why am I bothered by this but not something else that I've seen? But it was really sad because it happened slow, and you just watch them both just die. I guess.
Oh,
Whether-
God.
Okay, I guess it happened in Buffalo, like near Niagara Falls, but like there's a big undertow in that river or whatever. I don't know the fucking river.
I don't either.
But anyway, there's this black guy drowning in the debris. Save it. Save the jokes. But he's drowning in the debris, and some white guy tries to save him. And you know how like when you jump in the water with somebody, they'll drown you when they're panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't have a man bun. That's all right. No, you just say it. It wasn't a hipster. That was.
What are you trying to say, Matt?
Anyway, the guy's trying to help somebody out, and you know how they teach you got to grab them basically in a chokehold if you're going to save someone drowning. Well, he did the whole like take my hand, and he totally got just pushed under, and you both see like the white hair and the dark hair just go low.
Oh,
like
God.
The undertow just takes them, and like it was so slow. Like a Hollywood movie couldn't be as dramatic as this death. And I was just like, man, that sucks. Like, man.
Next video, please.
And there's people standing around. I don't know what they were on, like a boat or a ledge or something.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, man,
But if
you guys got a stick or something, like throw out there to, like
Take the stick.
which gets me to the point. If you're drowning, I'm not trying to save you. Sorry, everybody.
well,
you got to drown.
That makes sense. Because then you have two people dead because the undertow.
Well,
Yeah, what happened was like they were above the water, but the fighting with each other tired them out to where the undertow just sucked them down.
completely depends on who's drowning. If I'm jumping in to save you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like
If you're a hot chick, where I'm going in.
Brian, if you're drowning, I will cry on the shoreline,
Yeah. Thank you.
but I can't come get you. What am I
No,
gonna do?
like
We're both going down,
and vice versa, because I can't swim, man. You're fucking dead.
You can't swim?
No.
Oh shit!
So you're dead. Sorry.
I can float.
I love
and
you,
swim.
but you're dead.
Oh, I'd be like, I understand.
On a side note, this is at Kobo. I was there.
Oh, you were here?
Yeah, that's Survivor
Oh, yeah, it was
Series.
Zeus. Yeah.
Survivor Series like '92 or something.
And the Powers of Pain.
And the Powers of Pain. And Jake the Snake came out. And
Do you think the Warlord and Barbarian lifted weights?
maybe? But we went to this, and our uncle Don went with us for a reason.
Oh, really?
He fell in the steps.
Oh, I remember when that happened.
It was
Yeah.
that's how I remember it. I'm like,
I went to the Joe Louis Arena, and it was Saturday night's main event, okay?
yeah,
And it's the one where Mike Tyson was supposed to show up, but Buster Douglas beat him. So then Buster Douglas did the spot.
oh,
Yeah, and then, anyway, some guy about 3 rows up has a heart attack and shit his pants.
I remember you. Yeah,
Yeah, he's like 3 rows above us. A guy had a heart attack and totally shit his pants. You could smell shit.
Oh, it's terrible.
And he died. I don't know if he lived. Probably not.
That's probably more shittier than it usually smells. But
And then my dad looks at me so heartlessly. He's like, "Man, he really likes wrestling, don't he?"
so, you know what? They're showing DiBiase here, and it made me think. Forget about something we didn't talk about a couple weeks ago. Was the stereotype stuff and how he's like, if you were Mexican, you came down to like a Mexican type song. You this that. Ted DiBiase came down to the ring with a slave.
Oh, I know.
He had basically a slave with him.
He had a
valet.
a valet, but he had like
Virgil.
he had Virgil, who was basically his indentured servant.
I know.
And then remember it got to their split. That's when it got real bad when they were splitting. He's like, "You're gonna do what I want, boy," and he's like putting money in
my
his
God.
mouth and stuff.
But how'd they get away with that? Even then,
Yeah, because it wasn't like 1950. It wasn't in the 90s. You know,
late '80s and early '90s. How did they let him own a slave?
I like how every heel wrestler though back then, because they did typically make the black guys good guys.
Yeah.
And so all the heels were like complete racist. Like, "You're gonna shine my shoes, boy." That was like every heel back in the 80s. Look at like Dave Schultz and
Yeah.
all them guys. It was always like the totally like overt racist heel.
Oh my God, I forgot about Zeus actually wrestling in WWF.
And or the bad. The only way you could be a bad guy, and not a white guy, if you were from a different country, then it was okay to hate you blindly because you
Yeah.
weren't American anymore.
You were American.
So it's like the Iron Sheik, and Nikolai Volkov was a
It was
communist.
okay to hate them. Yeah.
Yeah, you could hate them all you wanted.
I forgot Debo from Friday was in the WWF.
Yeah, James Tyne. Didn't he die recently?
Did he?
Probably not.
I don't know. But it's Debo from Friday or Zeus from No Holds Barred.
He was big. Jesus.
He wasn't as tall as I remember, though. Hogan's taller than him.
Yeah, I remember him being.
He's in lifts, but
I remember him being like. In my mind, he was like 6'8", but really looks like he's about 6'4".
yeah,
6'5".
like they showed him standing across the ring with each other, and Hogan's obviously taller, but
Yeah, and Warlord is 6'4" and Barbarian's 6'2", 6'3".
which one has the kid who played at Ohio State in the NFL?
Oh, that was the Road Warriors.
Oh, this is Power
Ant-
of Pain. Never mind.
Yeah, Animal.
That's right. They just
Joe
completely look
Laurinaitis,
alike.
his
That's
son.
right. Yeah.
What was his kid's name? Is something Laurinaitis? John, was it? No, John's his brother, Johnny Ace.
Laurinaitis.
I forgot the kid's name.
Yeah,
though.
I don't
James?
Yes.
Was it James?
I think, honestly, I think he retired. I think he's like, I don't want to be hurt anymore, so I'm just going to retire.
Yeah.
And he's an announcer
But he's
now.
a good player.
But I forgot. Kojak was talking about conspiracy stuff, and I had one I was going to bring up, and now I can't. I don't remember.
I always forget every conspiracy theory I'd like to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to talk about like one. I could probably do a whole show on ones that I used to believe were true, and then now I'm embarrassed that I did.
So, like what?
I don't want to say.
Come on.
I don't want to say the ones I believed.
Come on, just do it.
All right.
Any of them,
I used to have this conspiracy
any of
theory
them
where I
involve
thought
jet
like
fuel?
war was a racket to make money.
That's a lot of that's probably true, though.
I just thought like they did it. You know, they didn't really need to do it.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but jet fuel doesn't burn hot enough to melt steel beams.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Anyways, wrestling.
Tannerite does.
Yeah, the stuff they placed there does.
Oh man,
The funny thing about conspiracy theories, like you have a bunch of different conspiracy theorists, and they all agree that the official story is wrong, but who did it? You know, got some people. Well, we still got Nazis in our government. It's like, no, it ain't the Nazis. It's the Jews, actually. And that's how they always argue about who actually did it.
It's the greatest thing about conspiracies.
And then you got one group that only people that actually did it, like the Arabs, like we fucking did it. We did it.
and then David Ikes is sitting over there like, Psh, I know who did it.
I tend
David
to agree,
Ikes knows.
I tend to agree with the people that say, "Hey, we did it." I want credit.
You're a conformist.
Man, you ever heard of David Ikes, Frank?
Yeah, I watched a documentary like 2 weeks ago on what happened after
After he started saying all this stuff.
that, the after effects.
Yeah,
And the person that paid the most for all of his was his daughter.
really.
Yeah. His daughter was shunned in school, shunned in
Oh,
society.
yeah.
She got treated the worst, and that's when he backed down. Remember how all of a sudden he just got quiet?
No, I literally know almost nothing about the man. I never watched any of this stuff, never read any of this stuff. I just listened to another podcast that was talking about him, and I know you guys talking about him in passing.
Yeah. Well, one day I come home from school or whatever as a kid, and I find this book. It's called like Into the Matrix or something. It's by David Icke.
Yeah,
And my brother bought it. I'm like, well, what is this? I'm reading. I'm like, fucking lizard people?
Yeah.
What is going on here?
it was.
Being a young kid, I'm like, oh my God, there must be lizard people
This
trying
makes
to eat us.
so much sense.
Yeah, right? This is why the world is how it is, because of lizard people. But like literally, I'm scrolling through fucking YouTube, watching different videos. I'm going to bed at night. And it's like 1 a.m, and I hit this David Icke documentary. It's not about all his conspiracy; it's about his life.
Yeah,
And
he was a pretty regular dude up until about 90.
he was a journalist.
Yeah, and he was a football.
He was a
footballer.
pro level
Yeah,
soccer
soccer
player.
player.
Yeah.
They call it football in foreign.
and he was an announcer. He was a well-respected announcer, and all of a sudden, like 90, 91, he's like, "This is happening."
But watching it, the whole thing was just like, okay, it's sad, David Icke, whatever. You call people lizard people. You're gonna get some fucking resistance when you do that. But the worst part about it was his daughter paid the ultimate price for what he did because she was shunned everywhere she went, and it was just, and you could see that him and his wife were like remorseful about what happened. He's like, I never wanted to go that road. I wanted to educate. He still did his David Icke thing. I wanted people to know about the lizard people trying to eat us all and kill us all, but I never wanted my family involved in this. And like his daughter was hit pretty hard in society because of it.
That's sad.
Oh,
Just because
well.
the parents crazy.
Oh well, when you fuck with the lizard people, they go after your family.
That's true. I
Repti-
think it was Australia or something. They revoked his visa, so he isn't allowed. Yeah, but yeah, that's. I'd be interested to read some of his stuff.
So they revoked his visa, which ultimately proves he's right.
Yeah,
I don't get
Right there.
like why you would revoke his like. It's like
Yeah, it's not
he's
like
like
he's
okay,
gonna-
he's gonna come over here and tell some fairy tales, What
and
do
he's
you
gonna
fucking care?
he's gonna convince all the people of Australia that they need to overthrow the government. It's not going to happen. No one believes the guy. A lot of people do.
It's lizard people.
The lizard people.
There are way better conspiracies out there than lizard people.
Yeah.
We won't let this lizard people guy over here, but like militant Catholics, Christians, and ISIS, they can all be here.
Just David.
They're all
Icke-
welcome in
lizard people
Australia.
No.
So, does that actually speak to him being truthful? How come all these other crazies can come over, but he can't?
Because there's David Icke doesn't have supporters with a lot of money. Okay,
Oh,
doesn't have like Saudi or Vatican backing.
That's wrong. I clearly believe because he's right.
is there any other conspiracies you can think? Well, I'm not. I don't want to ask you because you know all of them.
I'm not going to get
That
into
what I could.
it. This shit can go deep state real quick.
Remember that fake documentary that people thought was real about rods? You ever hear about that?
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
like these little things that shoot
I
around
clearly
real
thought
fast.
you were
They're
going to say the
called
Blair
rods.
Witch Project.
I do not remember that.
Oh my god!
And people were bought into it, and I don't know what do they look like
It looked like a chopstick with wings,
And it
like
flew
3
around.
sets of wings. Okay, imagine a walking stick, but instead of legs, it was wings, and going really fast, like really fucking fast.
Okay.
and you can only see them at certain times, or I don't know what. I didn't
It
watch the
wa- it
whole
wasn't
thing because it was so ridiculous.
It wasn't certain times. It was what kind of camera you had. Because it was 98, 99. So there were shitty cameras that couldn't keep up with the frames because, the so many frames per second when they take their pictures. So when they did that back then, you had these dust mites or whatever it was. It flashed at such a high rate, it looked like a flying walking stick. Walking stick the insect.
You mean like orbs in a haunted place?
Yeah, like orbs in a... I cannot
Well, that's
believe
real.
Oh my god, I cannot believe these people that watch these haunted shows. I'm not going to get into it, but you fucking idiots.
Well, remember years ago, anyway, the rods thing. Even then, when I wanted to believe it all. Even for me, I was into all of it at the time, but I was like, "This is stupid." I'm like,
I'm gonna
I gotta go watch Zeitgeist because this is fake. Give me Bill Cooper right now.
This shit's fake. I'm going to watch wrestling.
Yeah, I swear to God, that's my thought. That
But
was
then
going
again,
through my head.
but you notice like how you brought up about Ike, like how some people, well, they're supposedly lying, but then they get banned from places, and it kind of proves their point. Well, that kind of happened to Bill Cooper. He's like, I ain't paying my taxes. They came to his house and shot
Well, yeah,
him.
he didn't just get banned; they banned him from life. They shot him on his.
Well, they
doorstep.
came to collect money, and he's like, I ain't paying. He had his gun.
He bled out on his porch for like 12 hours, and the FBI would not let a medical person in there. They held him down at the end of the driveway, which was a long
Wait,
driveway.
which one was this one?
It's Bill Cooper.
Yeah, I mean, but it wasn't a standoff or anything. It's just a guy.
No, they came up there.
Wasn't like
I mean,
Rube-
it turned into a standoff, obviously.
It wasn't like Ruby Ridge or anything.
No.
Okay.
I trust the FBI, unlike my friend Kojak right there, who's a couple inches shorter than me.
FBI
Not to be
is
not to be
great.
confused with me.
Love the
At all.
FBI.
I have more dirt on the FBI than they'll ever know.
Even though this recorder's not hooked up to the internet, I'm still nervous right now.
And I am at Lord
Well,
Deathspit's
you're gonna put it on
house.
you're gonna put it on iTunes, and it's safe. They're not gonna
See-
they're fine.
You think that's funny, Lord Despot, but you got to realize we're all going down if you're affiliated with me. They're not going to let you guys go.
What do you know? I don't know nothing. I'm getting smacked. I'm crying.
Better hope for waterboarding.
Put me in a cold room with my little frozen dick. Getting made fun of about it.
That's what they're going to do. They're going to put it on the internet. It's the worst torture ever. Look at his dick.
It's a thumb dick.
Oh, look at it. Look at it. The whole world.
Even dying, I'm still more worried about that. Look, dude, it's cold in here. It's not really that it's that small.
Just fucking kill me, please.
Oh,
Put on the local news as Crazy man streaks. You know how they do it.
Yeah.
They didn't kill you in a room. They're going to make you streak somehow.
Yeah.
Crazy man streaks with little dick, and the whole world sees. Just kill me already.
Please. Anything but this.
Worse than death.
Let the cartels get me.
If I die, people will be like, oh, he died. I liked him. But if that happens,
No.
everybody laughs at you.
That's a fate. Some fates are worse than death.
That's
Yep.
one of them.
Yeah. But anyway, I got into all those conspiracy theories. I studied every single one of them, at least to a certain extent, and came to the conclusion that they're mostly lies, but there's like layers of truth that they build it on. You know?
Yeah.
Because if you ask somebody, like, you can get anyone going by, you walk up to them like, hey, bud, do you ever get a feeling that something just isn't right? Because everybody's going to be like, yeah.
The best.
Those stuff doesn't feel right. Do you ever feeling like you just can't get what you want out of life?
It's
Yeah!
it's the same. The best lies always have a layer of truth to them. That's how. If they sound more realistic, that's when they always sound.
Yeah, I agree
They're
with
better lies.
But on top of that, it plays on human nature, too. I mean, ultimately, what are we? We're explorers. That's what we do. We explore. We check the unknown. We've been doing that since the beginning.
You are. I don't leave my house.
Well, human nature, not Lord Despot's nature. Human nature. He's a lizard people. Human nature is to explore the unknown. That's what we've been doing since the beginning of time. You start throwing conspiracies, it makes our minds work. We can't explore anymore. There's not much exploring going on. So
No.
conspiracy theories are kind of where it's at. Because
I still can't figure that out. Why exploration isn't
Well,
still
we're
going
going
on?
to space. I don't know why we're not going in the ocean.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. The ocean. They say it's like only 10% discovered.
Why do you want to go find plankton?
I want to find Atlantis and
I want to
Lemuria.
find because do you know how many different or the rainforest? It's still like 60% undiscovered stuff in
Yeah,
there.
some dude with a plate in his lips going to walk up and fucking poison dart your ass.
Yeah, because they discovered by searching the rainforest and poison
Yeah.
darts.
And we'll just ruin everything for them.
Look
Yeah,
at Iowa
we'll bring
Watson.
disease
We'll like
into 'em.
subjugate them. Then they're going to fucking get addicted to Reese's peanut butter cups. And
Oh
they're
my
not-
god, the new fast break.
And they can't
Is it
fucking
good?
process sugar because they're not used to it. And then they'll get diabetes like everybody else.
They can handle cocaine, but not sugar.
Yeah.
But that's where you find all the new medicines and drugs and different things you need. Bad drugs,
Yeah.
not like good medicinal drugs, like
Like
the
my
new
kind of.
the
We're
new,
talking. We're
the
talking
new
about me.
cocaine, the new.
If
whatever
I
you
ever
might
go to
need.
the Amazon, I'll do coke with you, but only eat the leaves because that's like not as bad.
Fucking shit. Guess what? We're doing a live podcast from the Amazon.
Yeah, because you eat the leaves. It's like not that. It's not the same. It's like you get a little pick me up.
What do you mean? There's not like gasoline involved?
Yeah.
We should do that when it gets warmer. Like do a live location podcast from like your backyard,
Like I'm in the Amazon.
live from my backyard.
Shut the fuck up, Tony. Start arguing with my
You guys
neighbor.
be amazed how quickly I get along with the locals. We'll be best friends. I'll be in a loincloth before the day is over.
Well, yeah,
Radio Underground on location. We go 50 feet to my fucking bonfire pit.
Just
outside.
gotta go corn again. So we can get in the corn.
Yeah. Sit in the corn all night. All right.
Who walks behind the rows?
that'd be awesome. Actually, do a podcast live from your cornfield.
We're live in a cornfield.
We're live out in the wilderness in a cornfield.
Mosquitoes are
Looking for
eating me
coca
up.
leaves.
That'd be great. Just
Be
do.
great if we
just
found
do-
them.
It's like we're doing this live from Coney Island or something.
Yeah.
People are like, "Oh, they're in New York." Like, no, the restaurant,
Think we're
Coney
gonna get
Island.
beat up by a drunk guy that
The conspiracy stuff now is, it's like not, I wouldn't say respectable, but they got decent, because anybody can have decent production quality. All the old VHS tape shit is the best because they got like
terrible.
the really cheap fucking,
yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Fucking
because
a flying saucer on a string with like a stick attached to it going all over the
Well,
place.
well, they basically take their camera and interview each other like we're doing now, but with shittier equipment.
Yeah.
that sounds way worse. I mean, this is $400. They probably spent $1,200 on it.
Oh,
and it still was
and it's
crap
shit.
back
And
then.
the guy couldn't interview for shit.
And they interview some guy with like ex-KGB that's clearly just a Russian guy that lives in their neighborhood. Never was KGB.
This
like,
is Boris.
This is Vitaly.
It's classic. Every time there was some dead silence, you'd be like, "Oh well, here we go. We got to talk about this. I mean, do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember when?
Even
prodding them into answering stuff.
the best were the also like the even to this day they do the conferences. Okay, it doesn't matter any fringe group. The alien people, they're always at some like Hyatt Regency like ballroom or whatever, and they got that shitty overlay modulated
Regency ballroom with that shitty mic every time.
they got the shitty overmodulated mic.
Hey everybody! Here, just want
And,
guess who's hurt? Guess
We're at the
who's hurt
Concord
tonight?
Inn.
and they got like the worst possible MC, the guy that kind of
Yeah.
introduces everybody all night, and the guy has no mic skills at all. Like any one of us are infinitely better than him.
Oh, the classic pause. The pause. Every time he has a sentence, he pauses and he looks around and like, "Oh, we're gonna
you hear
get
the room buzz from the electronic.
That's what made it good, though. Now it's anybody, if you have a decent budget.
You can make it respectable.
Yeah.
Exactly. What made it good was the graininess of it. Now they're so good at it, you're like, I might believe this? What
Yeah.
the fuck?
Are you selling me on this?
Yeah, I don't.
No, you really.
Gay frogs? Shit. Is that a thing?
You could realistic like with. I know you spent money on equipment, but there's people that do a podcast and they get people to listen to it. They record their podcast on their phone and they run it through free software on their computer and then they post it. They're basically spending whatever their monthly cell phone bill is.
Yeah,
That's why we don't know about them. Fine.
the only
I don't know. Some of them are very popular.
The only reason I didn't go total dirt cheap is because I have to have other people. I can't do it myself.
I know that.
Because I could do it. I could easily do it with a phone and my headset. It would be nothing. But then what I'm going to do? Hand you my headset. All right, what do you think, Kojak?
Throwing across the room.
No,
you're
I
right.
could do a Colombian podcast at my house. And be like, this is going to be high speed. Let's go, guys. Here's one headset. We all get one microphone. Pass.
You know, watching this, I used to be a Hulk Hogan fan, but watching this, I'm rescinding my support for him as a kid.
Oh, it's so bad.
Because
Thank you,
he
God.
he had 2 matches in a row. This is 2 Survivor Series. His whole team got out. Oh, Jake's still there. Never mind. But his whole team like would get eliminated, and he would beat 3 or 4 guys with his team out. Come on,
It's just bad.
this is fake.
I'm starting to think this is fake.
I watched wrestling one time in my life, and it was because a girl. That was it. I started dating a girl, Christina Perrette. Look her up, everybody.
What's she look like now? Is she alive?
No, she's hot.
Really?
I mean, everything's hot right now to me at my age.
Yeah. I never heard of her.
I was dating her. We went to Project.
But there was a time period where we didn't talk. There was a rift.
I was picking her up for school.
One of our many rifts in our friendship.
Picking her up for school. She didn't have a ride, so I'd pick her up and take her to school. Our alternative school for bad kids.
Like I said, the rift.
Yeah, so that driving turned into, hey, let's hang out after, which turned into other things that it always does when you're like 19. And she was like, I love wrestling. Do you want to watch it? Of course. What's my... Yes, let's
Wrestling's
watch it.
my favorite.
Let's watch it.
You know, which kind of brings me to my original point of this whole podcast.
Conspiracies about wrestling.
No. Remember I talk about, like, right
no
now,
conspiracy.
even...
Oh, yeah,
my
there
first
are.
instinct was like, you had a girl that liked wrestling? Why don't you fuck her, marry her, worship her, blah, blah, blah. But then it brings me to, like, what has happened to the people that aren't supposed to be something but are, like, oh, I'm a girl that can play Slayer songs on my guitar.
Dude.
Aren't I so hot? And then you look at the video, and the girl's, like, moderately attractive. And, like you said, you looked at a video.
Because you mentioned it earlier, and I immediately looked up a girl who played Raining Blood on her guitar. And you could tell a female, a woman.
Raining blood?
See, he's already into it. He's already sold. He's
Yeah.
a plebe.
And she has dark hair and dark makeup and tattoos.
He thinks I'm talking about music. I'm taking in the monthly joke.
Oh,
Raining
because
blood.
periods.
Oh,
Yeah.
get it.
That is just so gross.
But she starts playing it, and I'm like, she's good, but she's literally looking at her hands all the time. She's like, I'm like, okay, well, obviously she practiced a lot, but I don't know, whatever.
She's looking at her hands.
The
the
first
comments.
comment was it's like, you got tattoos and dark makeup and you play Rain and Blood. You're so fucking hot. It was the first comment.
Like, I'm convinced that the chicks that do the metal, heavy metal,
Yeah.
and the chicks that do the gaming and like the things that are usually male dominated, they just can't. They're going where there's less competition, because if you're into like purses and cooking and other things girls are into, you got a stiffer competition.
I mean, the way you said it sounded sexist. I know your point. Your point is, stuff that's more traditionally female oriented.
Is there more hot chicks at a dance club or more hot chicks at a metal club? It's at a dance club.
The dance club. You know, you're right. I know what you're saying. Kojak kind of had a point. It did sound a little sexist, but I don't think you were trying to sound. Maybe you're trying to sound sexist. I don't know.
I was deliberately trying to sound
he was
sexist.
overtly trying to sound sexist. See, but you're right. The stuff that most women are usually interested.
Did you just
oh, look,
say
there's DiBiase slaves.
girls who play guitar and do other things, they're run by guys, but they're girls who cook and all that?
That's what I said.
Oh, actually,
Christ, you're correct.
One of the comments,
100% right.
One of the comments actually said, "You don't even have to cook or anything for me as long as you play guitar."
Did it really
I
say
swear
that?
to God, I'm going to find it for you.
Well, that's a good point. I mean,
I'm going to find it right now if I can.
but it was because I was in bands. I was in metal bands for years, and everybody would always know, like, this band's got a hot chick bass player, and the girl would be hot because she wasn't ugly in playing bass.
That's
But
pretty
you
hot.
could go to any like dance club or anything
home
and see
ec
hotter
class.
girls than that. Now but that girl is even harder to get than the girls at the dance club, because at the dance club there's a bunch of them, but the metal club you got all the guys hitting on her.
It's
You
in
meant to say home ec class.
it's in all caps. It says, "I don't care if you can't cook. Just play Slayer and I'll make breakfast."
Well, there you go.
I don't
mean,
disagree with that statement, because
No.
I like to cook. So
Yeah. Girls plus tattoos plus metal plus guitars. Please stop combining everything I love. You're so hot.
I'm just going to
Yeah,
use
no.
one word.
And they
flappy.
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 They always do that, though. It's like, it's a hot chick that's sort of decent at Dark Souls. Let me go donate $100 to her.
Oh, God.
You know, it was,
You caught Kojak's attention again.
Yeah, well,
donate
because
money to me. How about
you don't,
me?
we don't donate. Yeah, we ask her out for a nice dinner.
Over Twitch?
Well, why not?
You will get nary date on Twitch.
No, it won't happen.
I'm not getting near a date anyways. What the fuck does it matter if I ask her on Twitch or not?
Well, I guess you miss 100% of the shots you don't
She's
take.
not getting $100 from me. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah, but then I remember when they get the what you call
Who's
like a hot
tapping?
mic where they don't know the mic's going still. This one girl was made a bunch of money, and she's in there talking to her boyfriend. She's like, and the mic's still on. She's like, I just made a bunch of money today doing fucking nothing for dorks, and
She didn't make money
Clearly
after
we
that.
don't know what's on. The one girl was having sex with. She didn't realize it was still on.
Oh, I didn't know the camera's still
Oh my
on.
god, the camera's off.
Yeah.
oh god, my tits out. Oh, this is against Twitch's terms of service. Ugh. I don't care, babe. Make your money. Whatever.
Do it.
I don't give a fuck. I ain't mad if I had female tits, not my
Yeah.
tits.
If we had desirable breasts,
Yeah.
like women do,
I would exploit it completely. If I had a good body, like a build like a dude, I would never wear a shirt. If I was in shape, I wouldn't have a shirt. Not even in the winter. Fucking shirt would be off all times.
oh man,
Guaranteed.
did you hear about Elizabeth Shue?
No.
Nothing. She was hot.
Oh,
That's
come
all.
on.
She was hot back
I thought
then.
there was real news.
Let's talk about her again. Let's not.
Yeah,
Let's-
everyone just stops listening. All right, this guy's a fucking creep. You know, the funny, I talked all that shit about how much I worship her and everything. Then I saw like she's got like a real nice family, and I was all like, all right, man, maybe I ought to dial it back a little, just a little.
Remember her brother was on Melrose Place?
He was Billy, and he was part of Cobra Kai as an extra.
His name wasn't really Billy. His name was Billy on the show. I think his real name's Andrew, isn't it?
I don't know what his real was. His name Billy on the show.
I think it was. I don't know, because same thing, 90210 in Melrose Place. I didn't watch. I didn't have sisters, so
What?
you had no reason to watch.
no.
I had sisters, Dwayne and Ben. We watch that shit all the time.
Yeah, I'm going to tell him you said that.
They'll hear it when they listen to this podcast.
No, I'm going to.
Clearly, Dwayne is
Well,
listening.
someone has the ability to make clips and send them to people of what you say.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I have the
Oh,
equipment.
you do it.
Oh my God, Hogan won.
I think he's
Stand by my
talking shit
statement.
about you.
Hulk Hogan won.
Dwayne doesn't talk shit ever, so this will be a comfort.
Yeah, he's a real humble, laid back guy. Has no bit about his temperament that's braggadocious whatsoever.
I'm not going to put this on blast. I'm just going to lead with this, though, a little bit. We have a brother fight going on right now. I'm on the outskirts because I'm the youngest, and I agree with everybody.
Okay.
But we have a brother fight going on right now because of that exact thing that Dwayne can't handle but say shit. He just can't. He can't contain it. He cannot help himself.
Did he say shit about the other brother?
Yes, he can't even. No, they said it to each other.
Oh,
Said it to one brother was really happy, and the one brother listens, so he knows where I'm coming from. The other brother, you can't drink a microphone, so he's never listening from his.
okay. Now I know who you're talking about.
So one brother listens, and so one brother calls the other brother. He's like, "Hey man, this is really cool," and the other brother goes, "Ha ha, fag."
For listening to you?
No, nothing to do with me. I'm leaving out all the details.
Yeah, he
on
just.
purpose.
Yeah.
One brother calls the other brother, goes, "Hey man, check this out. This is really cool. The other brother goes, "Fag," and the other brother's like, "Why are you such an asshole?"
Yeah. Well, I know exactly who said what to who based on that.
I think we all do.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Okay, yeah, there's no. Well, they got to right that ship. I'm staying the fuck out of that.
The one who's in the right listens, and the one who's in the wrong will never listen.
Okay, so it's
who
exactly
cares?
how I thought.
So why did Dwayne call him a fag?
I'm gonna die.
Sorry about that, Ben.
And Ben's right though. Ben's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Like, hey, I want you to check this out. Oh, Dwayne, fucking motherfuckers.
Yeah, somehow he's listening to it,
Yeah,
even though
for
it's not.
once he'll listen. Well, I remember when we were on the FM band. Now he didn't listen to us, but Lisa and his wife and her friends, they listened.
Hey, this we can put on the podcast just for conversation.
What's that?
So I just got a text message
Yeah.
from a girl,
Okay.
super fucking hot.
Sounds hot.
No, she super hot chick, right?
Yeah.
Until you get like right to her face area.
Oh, Butterface.
Yeah. I mean, she's fucking fun. And
Wait.
she's like a dance.
This is mean. Oh, well.
Let's take a poll. Let's take a Radio Underground poll.
Okay.
All right. Say your point. You're the suspense. I can't take it.
I was just kidding. Never mind.
What are you doing? Come on. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
All right. So this girl is messaging me right now as we speak. As we can hear it going off, right? She is a total freak. Wonderful body. Beautiful. Everything else. But her personality, she might be a little bit out there.
Okay.
Way the fuck out there.
Yeah.
Do I go and pick her up tonight
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
for moments of fun?
Just moments, not hours.
Because my house is empty tonight. It's all just me in my house.
No, you want your balls to
And
be
your
empty.
precious
Yeah, yeah.
TV
You want your balls to be
stands.
drained.
Yeah, but she's so fucking crazy.
Now, what is she like on the crazy hot scale? Because got be equal parts crazy to equal parts
Yeah, the
hot.
hot crazy matrix.
She's a 10. She's a freak, a 10. A total 10, like stripper dancing body, and dances and parties with me all
You know what?
fucking
Don't
night
say
long.
stripper dancing body because I've seen some really bad stripper
Okay, good. A good
C-section
stripper.
scars.
We're not at Gladwin. We're not up north at the cabin.
Not the
Going-
traffic light.
She lives behind
There goes
the
that
traffic
sponsorship.
light. Funny you said that.
Okay, that's not.
How much you got to pay is what I'm asking.
Nothing. Well, something, but it's more than Colombian money.
Oh, God.
Oh God.
Now I really know who you're talking about. I say avoid that.
I don't know who it is, but yeah, I agree. Just from what you're saying so far,
Okay, so I'm not taking either one of your advice tonight.
Yeah.
we didn't think you were.
Well,
Take
no
it.
one takes anyone's advice. If I asked for your advice and you gave me the answer I didn't want, I'm going to go do what I want to do.
yeah.
I'm just wanting to make sure that I'm not totally wrong somewhat.
But here's
Follow your heart.
Okay, so here's the fun part.
Follow
right?
your heart.
So I'm having somebody else come over tonight.
Follow your heart attack.
Follow my. It's probably happening. So I'm having
Sniffany.
I'm having someone else come over tonight in a group to hang out. And that one person And the other person, I can't wait to see that clash.
Oh.
So I'm gonna put my house full of volatile women and just watch the fireworks go off.
Well, there's a thing about, how when you get fish as pets, they recommend tank mates.
Yeah.
They have certain, because of their disposition, and certain things aren't proper tank mates. You have been the worst aquarium runner I've ever known in my fucking life. You get people that have nothing in common, and you put them in the same room.
Do you see the pure entertainment value in this, though?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. It's like a big, huge social experiment. It's awesome.
It is. It's great. Every time it's a mess. It's a mess of conversation. It always ends well, though.
But sometimes, though, you think to yourself, like, he left with her. It's like it'll be a matchup you would never think. Like, so you're gonna what? I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think.
But, I mean, you're on to something there with all this. Because it actually makes some sense. You put all these people in the same place, generally, every fucking time, everybody gets along, and it makes for great entertainment. Nobody ever gets hurt,
Yeah.
and it's just pure entertainment nonstop. And then it's a great story later on.
Yeah. I say, be like me. Don't do anything fun. Play it safe. Play it down the middle. And then you never have a story to tell, and you got to rely on your insane friend to tell stories on your podcast.
If you want to
have none of
consider,
your own.
if you want to consider, if you want to consider what we're doing here every Saturday fun,
I would like you to clean your
That's
life
the only
up
fun
and
I
behave.
have.
Yeah. I would like you to clean your life up and behave, Kojak, but then I don't have any content anymore.
exactly.
Well,
So you're like Chris Farley. If you took care of yourself, it would ruin your career. It wouldn't matter.
Yeah, you wouldn't be funny anymore.
In my defense, I'm pretty fucking stable.
You are.
I'm pretty fucking stable. I have my party, which I love my fucking party. My party can get silly and ridiculous.
But you do have a nice TV stand.
it's
a nice
great TV
bed.
stand.
The couch is comfortable.
But it's pretty fucking stable.
Yeah.
I just take flash moments and make party and crazy shit happen. I don't make it my life, which is why people die.
That
in
is
their life.
actually true.
I will take a moment, like a Saturday night or something, and make it completely insane, which I probably should die, but I survive it. I survive it, and comes Monday, and then I go on. So,
You have your Saturday night main events.
exactly.
You're the event.
I'm the NWO.
Yeah,
But realistically, it's not like a constant fucking insanity train ride the whole time. It's spaced out where it should be.
That is pretty true. It is true.
No.
It's not true. It is,
I
though.
want you to be the epitome of Americana. I want you to have a nice, normal life. White picket fence.
I do.
Nothing but missionary position fucking.
Whoa.
But I do have all that.
Whoa. Missionary.
Yeah, I lay on my
I was trying to
hand.
make sure he was paying attention because he was fucking around with his phone.
I'm trying to seal the deal, son.
Every time I try to do a show, and I'm not going to yell at you anymore. I'm
You're
not.
always yelling at me. You shut up.
You're also
and you
sick.
fuck
so
around with your
probably-
phone. You don't mute it. You don't ever mute your phone. Why? Can you not mute your phone? I mute my phone. Is that-
I mute your conversation. That's it.
Yeah. and your ringer's going the whole time.
Because they don't
And then
yell at me,
whatever's going on in your phone manifests itself on the show.
which is good conversation.
Yeah. It does entertain a little bit. It's annoying. Like if you're sitting right next to your phone, all of a sudden you're talking, you're like blah blah blah, and then it's like Stones got a little upset with it a couple weeks ago. At your house
No, it's extremely annoying.
because it's really
But-
loud.
Mute my phone.
There, thank you. Now,
I'll mute my phone.
thanks. Thank you.
I don't get yelled at by everybody.
I'm not yelling.
I'm not yelling.
No,
I've
I
never
know,
yelled.
I know, I'm just
I've never yelled at you.
Death's bit sick. He's
I
not going to yell at
literally
you.
hang out with 3 dads. 3 dads telling me what's good for me and what's not good for me.
So, hey, are you still sick?
Yeah, I feel horrible actually.
That beer and put hot potato chips didn't help.
No, I feel like shit, but we are having fun, so I feel a little better. Except for me being mad at Kojak.
What else did you mention you wanted to talk about besides that stuff? Do you remember?
Well, I'm going to force myself to go to Kojak's house and watch debauchery because my life is fucking boring, and he's right when he says that.
I never said that. You said that. I just invite you over for the fun.
Yep. Now, the girl he's talking about is very fit. No doubt about it.
Okay.
Very, very fit. I just think she's trouble.
She's clearly fucking trouble. That's why I'm talking to her. Do you think I want to marry Martha fucking Stewart? I'm not marrying any of
Yeah,
them.
she's old.
Well, she's trouble too with the IRS. She got in trouble.
Well, I mean, yeah,
She's like Bill
that's actually
Cooper.
real trouble. That's financial trouble. This bitch, she just might give me AIDS or
Yeah,
something. I
but
can
the
handle
difference
that.
is they're not going to shoot Martha Stewart.
You will
for it.
not get AIDS. I don't think you can get it.
I can't get her.
You'd have had it by now.
I don't die.
You're immune.
I don't fucking
Yeah,
die.
you're like Nosferatu.
If anybody was going to get AIDS, it would have been you.
I'm lizard people.
I was going to bring
outside of the gay community, you're the top AIDS candidate.
Do you want to talk shit about Morgoth and Death Ray just to rile them up for next week?
Oh, I forgot about that. That's another thing.
We did that
We got
video
a
with
whole-
Morgoth the other day, and
Yeah,
he made fun of me. He said I look like a 70-year-old man. I
Yeah.
think I only look like a 50-year-old man. But whatever.
you just have gray, and you don't have an old face. You have gray.
I know, but Morgoth's,
I don't know. Like, but
Morgoth's a millennial, and he doesn't know the difference.
he's been bald since he was 18.
I know, and I didn't bring that up, did I? No.
He was bald younger than Kojak was bald.
Yeah.
Kojak was at least 20s, right? 28 or something.
Kojak can pull it off, though.
When did you have
Morgoth,
hair last?
I don't remember.
he was like, I'm bald.
Your face was priceless. It looked
I'm
like telling a
bald.
war story.
You're touching a soft spot in me.
Soft bald spot.
Nah,
That's all everybody's just thinking.
Kojak had blonde, flowing Norwegian hair at one time.
He did. I did.
It was Nirvana-like. Nirvana-ish.
No, you had the side shave too, and then the rock and top.
I had it all. I even braided my hair one day like I got attacked by a paper boy. He's dead. He's dying.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just you know why he's going back to PC, and he's talking shit
He's
about
going to PC to duck Kojak.
to duck Kojak,
Well, that's
and
what he
also
does.
because he said, "Oh, the games on the consoles aren't good anymore because you got his ass handed to him on Apex Legends over and over again,
constantly. Like one time I was carrying him through a match and it was painful for me. Like I had to go like I was taking my Connor, my child, my 12-year-old kid has more aptitude than he does at a video game. I had to go back and be like, "Come on,
Yeah, well, he did with me too.
Morgoth. Come on, Morgoth."
Well, he did it with
Come
me
with
too.
me.
That same day, you were carrying me through matches.
And then, like, I'm in the next city. Now, you played Apex, you know, there's little cities, you go and loot, whatever.
yeah,
I was in the next city looting, fucking people up, and I see Morgoth back there weeping, sad,
Yeah.
little amateur video gamer. I had to run back there, go, "Hold my hand, sweetheart, let's go, I'll walk you through the bad men." And I had to shoot people and fucking kill him so he can make it to grab a fucking shield because he can't do shit.
yeah. It was we played on the same game that day. I was on your team a couple times, and I suck, and I will immediately admit
You
it.
don't suck as bad as him.
I don't know, man, but
No, you're pretty
he he could not get the grasp. He kept on getting killed. It's like these guns are making every excuse he could, and then blaming the people for killing him like they did something illegal in order to kill him.
You call him Morgoth, I call him Morgoth.
You call him whatever you want. It
We
doesn't
should
matter.
settle on...
Whatever
Morgan, his name. I don't. know.
No.
I mean, it's to a point now where everybody knows everybody's name, so just
Yep.
Morgan.
Yeah.
I wasn't-
Yeah,
I'm not gonna
at
say it.
some point, like we're coming up with nicknames where we're like everyone goes, "All right, Blade."
Blade.
All right,
I did that. I tried that at
We just
work.
call him amateur.
I tried that at one of my old works because
Mountainside's here with us tonight.
before I left that job, there was 5 Brians,
Oakwood.
which is my name. There was 5 of us in one building. It's like to the point where we didn't know who was talking about what. So I'm like, "Cool, we got a couple of names. You're Viper," and no one went with
I
it though.
literally have to stop my train of thought for nicknames. Like, okay.
It's-
Yeah, well, just I don't know. We're close to ditching them because at this point, for once in my life, I'm the only Mike in the room. Because everywhere I go, there's fucking. You had to go by your last name
Yeah.
because there's so many mics that you just had to go by your last name.
I'm the only Frank in the room usually ever.
And it didn't matter. They could be from Bangladesh, the hood, the suburb. Everybody. There was a mic from everywhere. Be
Yeah.
Mike Gashnir
Comcast
Gahad.
customer support. I am Mike.
Yeah, I know.
So
He's not lying about it. It's his actually. He's not westernizing. His fucking name's Mike.
I said this to you off the air, but I'm going to emphasize it again here on the air. I think Morgan's going to ditch us, and he's not going to show up.
You don't think so?
I think it's all ploy. He didn't actually buy a ticket. He's not flying in from Vegas.
What are you trying to say, Pine?
I'm just saying, I don't think he's coming.
I don't believe you.
I'm not saying he's a liar.
I'm sure Morgoth, who constantly tells me I let him down, is clearly going to show up because he don't let people down ever in anything he's ever done. He never lets anyone down.
Someone's going to
Sensing
go.
the sarcasm.
Someone's going to go to the airport to pick him up, and he's going to call and say,
It's not gonna
"Oh
be
man,
me."
something happened. The flight blew up. I can't make it."
Well,
the flight
fine.
blew up.
I hope you enjoy your trip.
I'll
to the
look at.
airport.
I'll look for it on the
I ain't going to
news.
airport.
I ain't going to fucking airport either. Fuck him.
Well, either way, I have those. I have those days off.
Lord Airport.
And if-
I was actually going to offer to go with you. Now I don't.
And
I'm not gonna go.
if Jeff is going to be here, which I think Jeff will be here.
I trust in
Well,
Jeff.
the funny thing is, though, both of them accuse the other of not. He ain't gonna show up.
you meant to say trustworthy, always there. Jeff will be there.
like you said, Jeff
but
has
they're
other
accusing
reasons
each
to come
other
here.
of not showing up already. They're both like, he ain't gonna show this. So now let's say the 2% chance that they're both here in next Saturday. They're both in these seats right here. How many fights are there going to be? Because there's you and more. There's really Morgoth versus everybody. He picks fights with everybody.
Yeah, me and
It's
him,
like Kojak. It's like you, but even worse.
me and him just go at it a little
I'm
bit.
a
We
pretty
usually
subtle
stop.
guy.
But
He just can't handle my dominance in any video game period, so he gets really
so
upset.
Morgan basically. Evil E. Aaron. He's going to be here too.
Yeah,
Supposedly. So
he lives
and
the
then-
closest too, and I kind of doubt that one too. But
So if by some miracle they're all three here, who's Morgan going to be the maddest at?
I'm just going to say,
got all the
Lord,
people he's
Lord
mad at.
Despot, you will. If you had a family reunion that you hosted, it'd be the worst family reunion in history because nobody would ever show up.
how many mic stands you got?
I have two.
Here's what we talked about this last week. Here's what I think you should do. You have two. You can have two people sitting around, but you're gonna have 8 or 9 people here. You should set up 2 mics on stands and let the people, like Howard Stern. If you watch Howard Stern live, like that, you have people walk up to the
Or
mic
just
and say
have
what they're
everybody
gonna say.
hand it around like
forget
a
the-
joint.
Don't forget the track. You got to build a track too.
A track.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, what?
Somebody's got to win the track race.
Yeah. You're probably right though. I probably should just trim it down to 2, because if you have 4, then it's too much temptation to.
Or you do 3 and you moderate and you have 2 mics.
Yeah, because I got 2 couches.
Hold on, sounds good. Don't let him moderate. His temper can't handle it.
Oh no,
Could be
I think it's
filling
I
fine.
can when
the
I'm not on
people.
the target list at all, because I won't be. Because Morgoth will be here.
Is that Curry?
So it won't even be about how aggravating I am to you guys, because I try to institute some sort of structure to the show.
You and your structure is shit. Haven't you realized that yet? You
I think
come
it's
to my
fine.
house,
It goes-
you party, you have fun. Your structure is shit. You let
My
it go.
structure is great when it's just me and him.
Well, yeah, because it's
I
just
think it
you,
works
you,
week
and you
in and week
agree
out.
on everything. So you
That's the way I want my life to be. I don't want dissent. This is a dictatorship.
no, it is not. You need dissent. You need the outside influence.
Who's that guy? Is that Curry?
Von Erich.
Curry Von Erich?
Curry. No, I think you're right, though, Pine. Just me at the helm as supreme leader, and then the 2.
I will
Mike's-
not deal with him. I will not give you that enjoyment. I will not deal with it. I will let him and Jeffrey handle it. You keep that Hogan doll out here so they can fight over it.
Are you saying you're not going to show up?
Well, the
What
funny
the
thing
fuck
is,
are
like,
you saying?
I don't know.
The funny thing is,
Of course
like-
I'm going to show up.
like we're always like I'm always like playing it up, and I'll talk to him, and like, you know how I'm gonna beat his ass, and it's like a joke for the show, or like and then like when it's just me and Morgan, like I tell like, oh, he's actually really being mean. He's like,
Yeah,
I'm gonna hit him. I'm like, what? And I'm going to fucking hit him. Like, why are you going to hit him?
That's why I asked him.
I'm
the
like,
other day.
I thought this was kind of a joke here.
And
Like,
that's what's funny because when it's just me and Morgan, he's totally opposite. He's like, "Oh, hey, what's going on? Let's have some fun." We're gonna
Yeah, like it's all talk. That's why I asked him the other day if he thinks that if it's just he wants to hit Jeffrey because Jeffrey just has a punchable face. He's like, man, I just
You
want
better
to punch
watch
his
out.
face.
Jeffrey will fuck him up.
Yeah.
I
And you
supposedly
talk about
they
Jeffrey-
fought a couple times.
He said Jeffrey hit him 3 times with one punch and none of it hurt. He said fist,
The
forearm, and elbow.
Well,
He's like,
I like Jeff's take on it. He goes, "We ain't gonna fight because we're both pussies."
ah,
I think that's the more accurate thing. The
they're
more
just going to
accurate
argue
statement.
with each other.
No, they're gonna argue
Talk
and they're gonna
shit.
get mad, and some of them might get thrown, maybe. And then with
A Hulk Hogan doll.
yeah. And if Aaron does show up by some miracle,
Oh, God.
it'll just trigger Morgan that much more.
Oh God.
And then,
Oh,
hey,
man.
hey, hey.
The trio.
Yeah, have you-
The trio. And then I'm like the outsider that's going to get into the quad.
Yeah.
You're
Dear God.
that.
I'm going to try to feature them the most if they're here.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Leave me the fuck
Yeah,
out of it.
absolutely.
But, you know, it's going to be bedlam. We're not going to have any.
When they're
Bedlam.
done whining about their fucking immaturities and aptitudes, and we're talking about Morgul and his video gaming, his total
Yeah.
ineptitude.
I know
I'll
that's
step
all.
in and show them what real fucking people do and what real experts do, and watch them get upset.
I know that's the only reason because he's going back to PC gaming because he hasn't been like the last couple of games he's played. He even said he hates them so much. It's because he's bad at them.
Now, Pine, you have a fucking point. I will talk shit all day, and it will be just talking shit that are classic arguments. But I have a witness to see his total lack of any gaming skill.
Just those 2 matches I put on Apex Legends, it was bad.
Well,
I'm at
he-
1,000 kills
What-
and
what-
like 170 fucking wins, and he's at like what 3 kills
Yeah.
and a bunch of whining.
I don't know.
He
I'm
did
not much
light you
better,
up
but-
at Gears that one night, and I live streamed it.
Oh yeah, no, I will not
lit
deny
you
the
up.
fact that I ate an entire fifth of fucking whiskey and maybe hung out with a couple Colombians that night.
You should have been on it with the Colombians, though. You're a little.
I know, but yeah, the mixture. But like in classic fashion, I have an excuse on how he won, which is a pretty good fucking excuse. But we go again,
Well,
it'll just be Colombians.
you'll just be fucked up again. It won't make a difference.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Your rematch is
And I
never going
won't
to
fucking
happen.
care either
Well,
way.
what's going to happen is we're going to be so hammered that this whole Morgan versus Jeff thing won't even be a thing. It'll just be all us screaming at each other in general. It's kind of going to not be a. I don't know what's going to happen. I can't. The thing about me, I try to keep things under control, and I lose control. Everybody goes nuts. I can't do it. 'Cause
It'll be fine.
Then if we get Warmonger in here, the whole gang. It's a whole gang of us psychopaths from years
It'll
of
be
our
the best podcast you've ever done.
like 3 mics. I think it should be like he said. Like
All right.
No, it should be 2 mics.
You think only 2?
no 3 because
No, I mean actually Michael's.
That's another thing, man. Like I get
Yeah, too many mics. There's no way because they'd just be talking over each other constantly.
so we just have to have the main 2.
Somebody says
I'm not going to
something
say
stupid.
I'm going to have my mic here, but no one will be next to me.
No, you keep 1 mic. You pass out 2 mics. Morgan says, somebody says something fucking stupid, and then
It'll be Morgan.
rebuttal.
Yeah.
And rebuttals and rebuttals and rebuttals.
So we got to think of like how we line up. Like okay, we got to separate.
Hey.
You and Jeff have to be on one side because you cannot be. So you.
I want to be right next to him.
No, God,
Come
no.
on, I need
you
them
To
Jeez.
Morgan?
No,
you want
you-
me looking at him.
I
yeah,
will look at him right
You,
next to him.
Jeff. I would say you, Jeff, Stones, and what?
Don't do the whole setup on the mic. Skip all that.
I'm just talking. Doesn't matter.
He's just running by us.
just talking.
Just talking, man.
I'm just telling a story.
It's going to be bedlam. Bedlam's a good word for it.
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
I'm telling you, we need a track in the backyard because Morgan has got to beat Bobby at track.
Oh God.
I don't know.
I don't know if it would happen.
It might when I trip Bobby's ass.
If he loses to the slowest among us.
Come on, we all trip him. He eats dirt and Morgan wins. That would be the greatest story that ever happened.
It could.
Is Stone's coming over?
I don't know. The last message he said is said proudly after 10.
Well, 20 minutes.
What's up?
I got company coming over in 20 minutes.
All right. Well, I can if he shows up. If he shows up, I can do something with him, and then you can whatever. We can just switch focus, I guess. But this is our.
Who's that
Drunkenness.
guy? The Warlord?
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh,
him
now he switched to the solo warlord instead of
Who the hell is that dude in the Congo hat?
Slick.
Slick.
That's his real name, Slick.
I believe you.
That's his real
It's not his birth
name.
certificate.
It's his birth name.
It's not his appointed
Is
name.
that Stone Cold?
No.
Yeah, Stone Cold put on 100 pounds of
That's
muscle.
what I was saying. I'm like, what the fuck?
At this point, Steve Austin still had Hulk Hogan hair.
Okay.
So he had the wisp. It was
I
so
thought
bad.
that was early Stone Cold. Like, he
No,
was
no,
up
no.
on fucking steroids.
At this point, actually, Austin wouldn't even been even WCW yet. He was probably just doing the independent circuit, and he still had the long blonde hair. He was stunning Steve.
Why is that tiny black man trying to fight that giant white dude?
I mean, he's a pretty hefty black dude. Just Warlord's a huge man.
Warlord is a huge fucking man, so he looks tiny.
Huge.
Guy picked him like a piece of cake.
It actually kind of looks like Goldberg. A little bit like Bill Goldberg.
No, he looks in passing glances is what I see. I'm like Stone Cold.
Yeah, no, because anybody with black trunks and boots and stuff. That was the one thing they always said about Goldberg's like, oh, he's an Austin ripoff because he has black boots and black shorts.
My extensive knowledge in wrestling.
No, it's
You should listen to me.
so. Yeah, next week is going to be awesome.
They're not going to show.
If they show, it's going to be
Jeffrey's
awesome.
going to show up. Me and him are going to hang out with his mom, and that's going to be that's it.
I have faith in Jeffrey
I do too. I believe you. I have
because
faith in
he's
Jeffrey as well.
I do. The other ones, Evil Lee lives too far away.
Hey.
What, an hour? And
His wife won't allow it.
I didn't want to say that, but I'm glad you did. And then Morgan's just he's gonna miss his flight, or it's gonna be a bomb scare,
Yeah, that's not on the news. There's no coverage of it.
or Las Vegas will be closed that day.
Are you trying to say he's ducking things like he's been ducking me for a while?
I'm telling you, that's why he's going to PC. He's ducking you.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not.
clearly PC's where everybody is. They're
Yeah.
having a good
Oh,
time.
yeah. I know. He's gonna go back. He's gonna play. He was talking about playing like Diablo 2 or 3.
Like all of us have been playing.
I have a theory about PC gamers.
Yeah.
They always claim that everyone's so good on PC and everyone's better, and I think it's them leaving the console space where everyone is in like the competitive market and be like, here where I'm at, everybody's way better than over there, and like it can't. They just
You are 100% fucking right. 100% right. They leave that fucking market because the general market where all the competitiveness is consoles.
Hell yeah.
So you get
Now, granted, the controls are more tight, but they suck.
more
it's a fucking
tight,
keyboard and
meaning
mouse,
that
no
you
way.
need it to be more fucking tight to be good. So you would buy a console that nobody plays. That's not. I don't mean a console. I mean a computer
Yeah, you build it or
that
whatever.
nobody plays on. I mean, granted, yes, there's a huge community, but you need tighter controls. So you're better at doing what you fucking can't do with a controller. So you have to become better there and go to community that there's not a lot of people at. Or the community where you got a controller. Sorry, it's not as good as a computer, but you have the controller still. So you're at 80%. You're at 80% efficiency in a community that's way more than anybody else. So there's more competition. But you leave that community and you boast about how good it looks. You fucking suck ass.
So
Where's your competitive nature? You fucking visual faggot?
here's my comparison. PC users are the vegans of the video game world.
100%. Hallelujah.
They will always tell you that they're PC gamers.
Oh, they got to tell you right away.
Yeah, absolutely, every single time.
If
If
you
tell you, I'm ravishing. I have a fucking PC.
Yeah, if they were I don't know who would talk more about what they are and who they are, a vegan or a PC gamer.
It's a tie.
We have a Morgoroth who's ditching the community of competition, even though the competition was laid out for him. Now all of a sudden he's ditching it to go to somewhere where none of us play. So we can't judge his shitty gameplay.
Well, when did we do the video where we talked to him? Was that 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago?
What?
Where me and you did the first video.
Oh, that was 2 weeks. 2 weeks at least.
I think it was 3. I think it was a week before Kojak's house.
Yeah.
And all he did was, I mean, he kept on saying, he's like, is Frank just going to duck me on this game? Kept on saying it.
Well, yeah. I don't know.
I'm just trying to take him
I know.
You know.
No, he did
I'm waiting
say
for
that.
you to respond.
No.
That's why
I'm talking about.
I was waiting for your response.
I'm egging Morgan on. I'm not egging Frank on. Morgan
You
actually
don't need
said
to
that.
egg me on because I smoke that fucking fool every goddamn time. Ask him to even play a single game of Call of Duty, Mortal Kombat.
He
Apex
claims
Legends.
you guys played something and you were just way behind, or were you guys playing Gears or something like that?
Recently?
He claims that you were like way behind on something.
Oh,
Yeah,
he claims that he was better than somebody at something?
yeah,
The guy who's leaving to go to PC so nobody can judge him? He said he's better at something?
that's what he said.
I'm the one that's in the forefront right now of all the games and plays them all. I do pretty well at them. I will admit when I lose at a game. If he beats me, I'm fuck, I got beat. I got beat.
Well, see, like then you got we got people who legitimately left Xbox Live because they don't have the time to invest and be good. Like you got Stones and Jeff. Jeff's like me; he has no aptitude for it. I love you, Jeff, but you're like me. We're terrible. But you got Stones who went for the single player, so they went to PlayStation. Jeff and Stones. That makes sense because single players go at your own pace. But Morgroth's supposed to be this hyper-competitive guy.
Let's bring up something we never talk about.
Oh, okay.
So, we're talking about me and my gaming against Morgroth.
Yeah.
Do I play every game out there?
No?
Shooting? Yes. What are you talking
I mean, I
about?
thought you meant every game ever released. You mean different styles.
Obviously. Not every game ever released.
Oh, he took you
goddamn
literally.
fine.
Okay.
Well, I meant
Fighting games. Your Mortal Kombats.
you
your
play different styles of
Injustice,
games, yes.
Your Call of Duties. Your Apexes. Your Destinies. I play every game out there, and I do well by them.
Like, what other
And
games
I'm
have we played
battling
recently?
Somebody who plays 2 games is good at 2 of them. He masters 1 game and he's good at 1 game, really good. So he picks a game and wants to fight at a game that he made very good. He does really good at. But then I say, okay, you know what? You beat me at this one. Fair enough. You're better at this one than I am. Fair enough. Let's try this one. No, I'm gonna go to PC. Well, what the hell? Why don't we play all of them?
And then you always bring Halo up into the conversation too.
I've never played Halo.
I know.
I played for 10 minutes in my life.
It's like, I would kill you at Halo.
Hey.
Halo's fucking old.
You're right. You want to play Mortal Kombat? See what he says in Mortal Kombat. No, because that's my best game. Granted, it's my best game. I'm not going to subject him to that because there's no way he can even compete. But it'll turn into a Halo argument at that point.
Yeah. Besides Apex Legends, though, what have you played recently?
Red Dead. Yeah, I mean, like every...
Red Dead Redemption 2?
Yeah. I played
10 in a row.
Red Dead.
10 episodes in
10
a row.
episodes in a row we've talked about Red Dead Redemption 2.
Woo!
And I'm about to buy Division.
The streak is alive.
I'm buying Division tomorrow. We're going to get into Division.
I've actually heard decent things
It's
about that.
divisive.
Division is like one of the funnest games you'll ever. Division
Yeah.
1, I loved hands down. It was
I didn't even know
great game.
you could still play it online. Division,
yeah.
the first one.
The problem with Division is the hackers and all that. They kind of ruined it big time. It was a hackable game. It was subjected to such hackable material that they dominated the market with it. So it kind of
Put your mic to your motherfucking face.
Yeah, you gotta get a little closer.
You're going.
Just
You're doing Vogue, motherfucker.
you're like bogan. Yeah, but I kind of read up on Division 2, and it sounds pretty cool.
I'm buying it. We all buy it. We all team up. We all play
Well,
it.
I'm not buying it, but
We'll buy it
no.
for you. Would you play it?
It's co-op. It's not versus.
It's four-man teams.
No, I
open
know.
world.
I know. I just yeah.
We all get there. And
You
play.
buying it?
Yeah, I'll buy it.
I'm not buying it though.
All right. All right. Don't. I don't.
I might. I don't know.
When's it come out? Like the 22nd or
It
something?
was out
it came
2
out
days ago.
Yeah, it came out.
Oh, it's out already.
out
I thought
now.
that was in beta.
No,
Oh, it was
it's
beta.
out
Tomorrow
Yeah.
we'll go pick it up.
I think it came out Friday, so yesterday even.
Can we game share, Brian?
Although the people about the special edition have been playing it Tuesday.
Yeah, fuck them guys.
They paid $200
That
though.
material doesn't matter. They just get to the other zones quicker. It doesn't affect the gameplay at all.
Well, and plus if you're downloading, you could start playing 4 days ago basically.
Yeah.
So
I don't
they've been
buy
playing for a
super
while.
duper versions. There's only 2 series that I do it for. I do it for any Gears game, and
Dark Souls.
I'll do it for Dark Souls. But I don't do super duper nothing for anything else.
Me either.
Because you
Waste
get
of money.
you do $60, and if you like it, you'll buy the what a season pass isn't that much more total. Like it saves you $10. Like if you really like the game, and every game comes out with a season pass, right? So
Yeah.
a season pass is like another $30. So I don't know. You save some money, but it's not. You don't spend a lot more than if you bought it, pre-ordered everything like
And-
the mag.
What you're saying is the money, the value of it. Yes, ultimately the value sucks. Really, realistically, the value sucks. It's if your friends are playing it and it makes you happy. If all of you are playing it, enjoying it, then the $30 is what is it then? We all put out $30 and we got 2 more months of playing games together. It's $30 to hang out. It's really not the actual content
I
because
think Stones is here.
Is he
that's
really?
all kind of bullshit.
That's good because the next thing I actually want to talk to him about. So
God damn
we'll
it!
wait for him.
Well,
Now I gotta leave.
we'll just switch. We don't have to do anything. Just hand him the mic, and we're good. I'll be over after we're done.
Yeah.
Why don't you recruit more whores?
Ho train.
Because if I did, it wouldn't make a damn difference.
I ain't coming over anyway.
You think I ain't tried that in my history of recruiting
No.
whores?
Now I'll be over after a while.
I'll be judged.
Yeah. All right.
Hey Stones.
So Stones is here. Just walked in. As Kojak leaves, so your mic is going to be in Kojak's spot.
You'll be
You'll be right there.
because
In fact, though, I'm gonna pause it so we can. We'll pause it and then say our goodbyes and all that.
probably
shit,
didn't have to say
and then
we're pausing it. Probably
we're
just could pause it.
swapping one dude for another. All right, and we're back. Kojak is gone. Stones is in.
Hi Stones.
Hello.
Stones. I've been trying to sell Despot here about it too, but you should get the 30-day free trial of the WWE Network.
Yeah,
It's free.
I think we were talking about that before.
I know.
on,
I finally started watching some of it, and it's like not just the wrestling content, just some of the documentary stuff. It's pretty interesting shit.
Yeah, I've flirted with the idea of doing that for actually a long time because I'm still a sucker for going back and watching like the old 80s and 90s stuff. So for a month, yeah, I could see myself maybe doing that. When I'm kind
There's
of
literally hundreds of thousands of hours of stuff to watch.
Yeah,
And that's not even
So I've
watching the
heard.
current stuff. That's just pre-2000 stuff, 2002 stuff.
right. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely spend some time doing that. When I get a little bored and when some of the everything, like I got so much shit on the back burner right now in terms of stuff that I want to be doing. I'm trying to like avoid video games and like stuff like that that's gonna like distract me. But for sure, I'll probably check it out at some point.
If you do it at the right time, you can watch WrestleMania for free.
Yeah, I don't really care about
Yeah,
it.
me
neither.
Anything that's going on now. I could really not give two shits about.
me and Pine were talking about that earlier. Like, we did the wrestling episode, and we had a lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot of people. About 5 people were like, "Hey, dude, you got to check out this wrestler or that wrestler." And like, I don't think they get it that I have no interest in the modern
No.
wrestling.
It's kind of like how
I like the old stuff.
It's kind of like how music is. You're into
Set in
what
your
you grew
ways.
up with, and like anything that comes out past the age of like 20 doesn't really matter as much unless you're like a music freak or like a real musician or something like that.
That's why I found out like why my podcast will never make it, because you got to stay topical, and there's nothing that I'm that into. You know what I mean? Like you always, if you look up like a video like, hey, this is what you should. You got to stick to a subject. You got to stay in your lane. I'm like, dude, I can't talk about one thing.
Yeah.
I have even if I never gain another listener, I cannot do one subject. That can't. I can't be just like I listen to a video game podcast, and those guys, I gotta give it up to them, and they know every in and out. They know everything. I can't put that much time into any one thing.
I tried the other day because I think it was Thursday because we didn't really talk that much about topics throughout the week. Normally we'll talk once or twice and stuff. And I hadn't heard anything, so I'm like, I'm just going to look at stuff. And I started looking, and I mean, I found a few things. And we've talked about a couple of things, but it's like, I don't know. None of it interests me enough to bring it up. Some of the stuff did. In fact, there's one thing I'm going to ask him about.
Well, the interesting I found, like, I've talked to people that listen to us, say, well, what do you like about the show and what do you dislike? And the vast majority of them say, I just like when you guys are bullshitting.
Yeah.
That's just what I like.
That's and that like it's the exact same way for me with like the YouTube channel. Like when I talk about Game of Thrones as though I've done a video on it, and I haven't. But like the new season's coming up, I'm really trying to like formulate ideas to like put video. That's like an area for me to be topical. It's something that I know really well. It's something I'm really into.
Sure.
But when that's gone, there goes that. But really, anytime I've ever tried, like I've done a couple game reviews, I've done I try to be topical, and it's like you're a small fish in a large pond. But really, the best reaction that I've gotten to the most positive feedback that I've gotten is the exact same thing that you just said. It's when I'm in my garage with the selfie cam with the shittier video quality,
sure,
no edits. I'm just drunk and cursing and bitching about, feeling like shit or stuff that my kid did or, just random shit. That's where I've found the most success. But I do like being topical from time to time. I want to do. There are certain subjects like Game of Thrones or like certain video games that I want to cover, but
I think you can do a blend of it. You're going to bullshit on every podcast, but you should always have something you want to talk about.
Well, the thing, like I'm realizing too, and just like you're saying with like other podcasters, you listen to these video game casters and stuff, and these guys know like the ins and outs of like every rumor, every fucking title, every genre.
Sure. It's like it's their job.
They're journalists,
yeah,
in a sense. So, and then like for me, like I'm like, okay, the Game of Thrones trailer just came out. I want to do a video on it, and then like instantly though, there's like 500 YouTube channels that are like super nerds that have already slowed the fucking trailer down, that have picked apart every little fucking frame, and that know everything about the books, that are going to give you their insight. What the fuck do I have to offer that they haven't covered into the fucking dirt?
So the only thing you have to offer is your personality.
Yeah. So
that's what makes
your
it unique.
personal opinions. Yeah,
yeah. It's just the way it is. Now, I granted, like we free floated with Kojak here. And we've done many podcasts where we just let it go.
Yeah.
People like it. People love that. But when I listen to it, me, as a self-critical person, I'm like, oh, God, it's a mess.
Oh,
it's just a goddamn mess. I hate it.
I did it too. I messaged you the other day. I'm like, God damn, there's so much pervert breathing on that last podcast.
Yeah. I didn't notice any of that.
Nobody even cares.
I must have just been hypersensitive.
Well,
yeah. So
the one we did last week, just me and him.
The thing is,
automatically picked it up.
I love what we got going on here because some week it's 4 of us, some week it's 2. So
next
like
week
when it's just me and you, it's
9?
like the NPR version of Radio Underground. Which is
it was
all right. I really want to fuck Elizabeth
considered.
Shue. What's your opinion on Elizabeth Shue, Brad?
I think that's what the show's called. All things considered.
Well, it's easier. I think it's easier to have like a cohesive discussion when it's two minds like bouncing back and forth. When you get 3 and 4 guys in here and everybody starts to inspire someone else, like, oh, that reminds me. Oh, that reminds me. Oh, that. And then you start getting this where everybody's got something to say, and so the more people you bring in, the more chaotic it gets, especially when we're not professionals. You know what I mean? We're just dudes.
And we don't have a script.
Right.
And,
so like
I never want to have a script. I don't want to be like, I don't want to give you guys a sheet. Here's what we're talking about.
No, what I'm saying,
deal with it. Like, I'm not doing that ever.
What I'm saying is, like, I think people who have been doing this like a long time, script or not, you learn how to like. Okay, I'm going to make a mental note of that and keep it. And and if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. They know how to like. Okay, they know how to like control their. I don't know what what I'm trying to say.
Our alcoholism doesn't help either.
Right.
And it's always better to have somebody to work off. Like we worked off each other well last week, but it's always good to have or a third or fourth person in here because everybody has different ideas, and you can work off that a little bit.
Well, the funny thing is, you get different types of listeners. You get the people that like the chaos. And people are like, I liked when it was just you and Brian. You guys were calm. Then other people are like, that's boring when it's just the two of you. I want the like you
need
get
a
different.
blend.
Everybody has a different opinion on what they like, and I'm like, I'm gonna just do it all. I don't care. Maybe one day everyone's sick and I'm just on my blue yacht. I don't give a fuck. I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I prefer it to be all the four of us.
I think
Me personally, because it's easier on me. I got to do less, and I'm lazy.
I think that you just keep doing it, and it will come together. Like, it's just like any band. Like, we've been in bands together and stuff. You just do what you do, and it naturally will kind of come together and figure itself out. The key is to keep doing it. The reason I haven't found success in my endeavors, like in the YouTube world, is because I'm not consistent. I don't keep doing it. Like, I do this, and then I'll sit on it for a month, and then I don't,
Yeah.
and then I do something different.
Yeah.
And I'm not consistent, so I don't have a rhythm.
Well, you work and you have a child, and
I'm
then
busy.
you have another child on the way, and
Yeah.
you can't.
No, it's if you listen to a lot of people that are creative with food, or like the brewers, the independent brewers, craft brewers around here and stuff, but the food people too, they didn't make any headway when they tried to make stuff that people liked. They did better when they made stuff that they liked, and eventually people said, "Oh yeah, that is pretty cool." They do what you love, and eventually people will come around to it.
So you got to go with the old cliche: stay true to your heart, man.
I guess so.
Or
Stay
they
true.
won't come around, and then you just move on and do something else.
Yeah.
Or keep doing it just because you don't
Well,
care.
like I said, everything I do, this whole thing to do it, put it all. It cost me $24 a month. I don't care. I'm gonna just for $24 a month, I'll do what I want. It's not that big of a deal.
No,
It's
fun.
It's fun. But again, to your point, like we were talking about, like people, the wrestling thing. People like, there's people that want it to be a wrestling podcast, and
Yeah,
there's people
it's
that
not.
want it to be this and this guy, and that was like, dude, I can only. We just have to do what we want to do. You know what I mean? But that's fun.
If anything, if there was a miscellaneous category, it'd be better to be under that because you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Well,
You're not stuck in
and
one
even if
thing.
even as much as like we
Or
like wrestling, there's people like, there's people. Even if I like, we talk about the main thing with wrestling is we like the old stuff, like the old shoot interviews, stories from the '80s, the territory days. There's guys that know 10 times, fucking 1,000 times more than we do.
It's insane what these people
Like, you
know.
can't keep up with these motherfuckers.
Here's the thing, though.
I can't be a pure to one thing. I can't.
The thing, like,
No.
now this is a totally different format, but like Joe Rogan's like probably the single most successful podcaster in the world.
Agreed.
And there's no format.
And there really is no format other than what Joe wants to talk about and who he wants to talk to. Now, nowadays he gets like amazing guests on and stuff because he's built up like his empire. But prior to him like finding that much success, he would have like I don't want to say pseudo celebrities, but like, you know, like
Graham Hancock, who
Graham
we were
Han-
talking
yeah.
about earlier.
That's
Yeah,
what I
he
was
would
gonna
have
say.
that guy, or he'd have like his comic buddies or an MMA guy in here
Yep.
and there. But there was never like a consistent theme necessarily.
No.
But he would talk about chimps, he'd talk about ancient Egypt, or he'd talk about. And Joe's not an expert on anything other than like jiu-jitsu or something. But
Yeah.
like he doesn't talk about that a lot. He talks about shit he's interested in, but not shit that he's necessarily an expert on.
No.
So, but the thing that he can do that we really can't is, or at least not yet, is bring in like experts, like scientists, like real scientists, and like Hollywood actors and rock stars and stuff.
And-
If a scientist came over here, I would die laughing. That would even be in my house. It's like, why are you here,
so
man?
explain science to us.
Right.
But no, that's when I used to like Rogan a lot because it was always different stuff, and he just had a different take on everything and these different guests, and I loved it. And then it got to a point where every single podcast is just talks about drugs, and it's like,
Right.
I got sick of it. But
Right.
when he first started, and I first started listening to it, I was into it for a while.
Well, my thing is, I liked that he would talk about stand-up comedy for like an hour straight. Then he'd talk about like wolves.
Yeah,
And then he'd talk
it was-
about fights. And like I'm into all that stuff. That's fucking great. You know, like just and it was all over the place, like we are. You know.
Yeah, the thing is, like, now, because we have no numbers, or we have like 103 people, I think, that listen. So we have
Unique
103
listeners.
people, 103 unique listens. That doesn't even mean they're consistent, just 103 unique. So I have to tag, like, if we talk about Red Dead Redemption for 10 minutes, I got to tag it to get people to listen. Because no one's going to be like, listen, there's no way to get the attention of random people. Hey, me and my 3 buddies were really funny. There's no tag for that.
We
you know what I mean?
drank and
That's
stuff.
like,
No, we kept the streak alive just before he got here. We talked about Red Dead Redemption 2 for the 10th week in a row.
10 weeks in a
Did
row.
we talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 during the wrestling podcast?
I think it came up, honestly.
I have to go back and
It
listen.
probably
to that. I don't
did.
recall, but you may be right.
Oh, I hope I'm right. I hope I didn't just ruin our streak. Damn it.
Because every time you mention that in subsequent podcasts, always in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, did we really bring up Red Dead when we were talking about WWF?
So when we take this recorder outside and we forget about video games, we're all drunk. At the end of the podcast, it's like Red Dead Redemption. I'm gonna hit stop. I'm just,
Man, I hope I didn't just blow smoke up everybody's ass and talk about a fake streak.
I mean, I think that was the most focused and dedicated podcast to a specific subject as we've had. If I'm not mistaken, that's all we talked about. So that can be considered like a special one-off, if you will.
yeah, we stuck, and I think that's why
You know.
people got the notion that like that's where these guys are going. We got it. We're going with the
Only
these
wrestling.
are wrestler guys, you know. Which I could probably do it. Just I wouldn't even have to watch modern wrestling. I can literally talk about wrestling because I probably watched it, and I probably watched it more than I played video games, more than I was in band. I probably was my number one source of entertainment from 8 to 20.
Right.
So it's my formative years. So I know if I know the most about one thing, it's wrestling.
Yeah.
From that period, not now, from that period.
I think that's why I like I told them, I've been watching the WWE Network, but they have a 20-part series on the Monday Night Wars. It's 20 almost full hour episodes. A different subject. Cruiserweights was one episode. Jericho was another episode. The War itself was another episode. Divas, which that was the worst one so far. It's pretty interesting stuff, and there's so much stuff I forgot about. They have an ECW episode because they were, kind of sending people over to WCW and a little bit to WWE before they had their agreement. It was pretty good stuff. So that itself to me is worth it.
I'll definitely want to check that out.
Speaking, since we're on the subject, I mean, we got this on in the background here, and Paul Romeo Roma, I forgot how good he was.
Yeah.
Like, that dude was a fucking athlete.
And that Herculean guy there, what's his name?
Yeah, I'm not sure. He's Mexican.
Yeah, the
I
funny-
forgot about Slick, right?
Yeah,
I completely
Something
forgot about
Hernandez.
him. So, Hercules Hernandez.
well, the thing is,
Oh, you're being sarcastic? I got you now. Okay.
yeah, no,
I forgot about the manager, though, Slick. Completely forgot about him.
Paul Roma. I've seen shoot interviews. He really, how we said the people have like taglines they don't intend to have. He always says at the end of the fucking day. Every shoot interview is like at the end of the day, because he's really hates a lot of people because he felt he got fucked out of everything. Or in other words, he was a normal pro wrestler.
Yeah.
They all like, I got fucked over. I could have been the greatest. They all think that. But I guess he was like really tough. He was one of those guys that could beat the shit out of most people. And
He was a good. I mean,
Yeah, I
he
was going to
just
say, I just looked at him throw that right hand. Obviously, it's a work, but I was like, yeah, he put some torque. It looks like he could actually throw a punch.
well, they put this team together because these were two guys that were actual tough people.
Like, you could definitely tell the wrestlers that definitely didn't know how to fight. Lex Luger being one of that comes to mind.
sure, yeah.
Like, you could tell when he would throw a punch, it looked really fucking bad. Sid comes to mind. I hate to say it because he looked extremely terrifying, but like it looks like he would be a lousy fighter.
the one they talked about in the Monday Night War thing was, yeah, he was electric and yeah, he put people in the seats, but did not know how to wrestle for real was Goldberg. He had a spear, he had a jackhammer, he could punch somebody, he could do a jump kick. Other than that, he did not know how to work a fight.
Yeah, I would say that his like in ring, like as a worker, he was pretty lousy, but
He was.
he did. I think we talked about this on the podcast because he was so clumsy and didn't know how to actually wrestle.
Yeah.
He made shit look convincing because it actually was connecting
No.
with people because he was a fucking idiot.
It was the 7th or 8th fight in the streak. He fought William Regal.
Yeah,
And they said,
I remember that.
And they said to William Regal, "You got to make the fight last 6 minutes." He's like, "Okay, I'll do what I can." And it was
worked him.
so bad.
Yeah.
Like Goldberg went to do some jumping like head grab thing and missed completely and like landed, and they both stopped and looked at each other, and then they did something else. It was really bad.
There was some heat there too.
Yeah, they say that like the top brass was mad that like Regal, who was actually like a catch-as-can trained like kind of submission fighter guy, like really was like working him over for real, not like to hurt him, but just to show that you suck or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did hear that too, but it was. He said he was told to do 6 minutes. Bischoff told him you got to make it last 6 minutes. Did not work. It lasted 6 minutes, but it looked bad.
Right.
And after that's when like, okay, you're just going to take everybody out in a minute. That's your thing now. And that's basically what happened
Yeah.
to a certain extent. I mean, some of the matches later on were a little bit longer, but
I like when she sold out to $1 Million Man.
yeah,
He bought a. See, we're talking about the politically incorrect stuff. He had Ted DiBiase had a black slave named Virgil.
Yeah.
And then he bought another black woman. He bought Sapphire here.
Yeah.
Remember when he bought that? That would not work
dude,
present day.
he had a slave, and we did not bring that up on our podcast, and it pissed me off after I thought about it later on. He basically had a slave.
Well, he was a butler, right?
He was a valet, but he treated him like crap. But it was basically a
And then he,
modern day
like,
slave.
yeah,
He
but then
treated him
again,
like crap.
pro wrestlers are supposed to be evil
He
when they're
whipped him.
bad, though.
He
Like-
whipped him in the ring. No, he didn't do that.
Oh God.
I forgot about Sapphire too until I saw the shirt.
I really like when Virgil won his freedom and then became Curly Bill,
See, he won his freedom.
and then he became a redneck with
Yeah.
Kurt Hennig,
And then he won his freedom, and then they gave him the dignity of being a jobber. He like lost
Oh,
every
so
match
bad.
from then on.
Goldberg beat him.
No, I mean even in WWE.
Yeah.
he left. He got away from Ted DiBiase, and then proceeded to like lose matches. Like
Yeah.
but he won the $1 million belt.
That's true. He did. That is true. Just WWE Network. Pick it up. Check it out. It's good.
Yeah, I like the possession is 9/10 of the law. So like the guys would steal somebody's, you'd steal the Intercontinental belt, and then you would have to win your belt back from the fucking guy that stole it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I liked about WWE and the hardcore title. It was basically you could win the title anytime you wanted. It could be 1 o'clock in the morning. They could be sleeping. You could lay on top of them, pin them, and you won the title. You
Like
were the
if a
hardcore.
guy's like out at like a subway at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
You could just in the streets just.
That's the
find
way their
him
hardcore
and,
title
like, you know,
works.
put a noose around him.
Yeah.
And, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, now because of the depravity of the internet, a hardcore title means your girlfriend's laying on the bed and then you skull fuck her. Now you got the hardcore title.
That's hardcore.
that times have changed.
Oh, Jake the Snake. So video game stuff. I want to ask Stones about this. You've heard of the Left 4 Dead games?
No.
Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, obviously.
Has zero interest.
Is yeah, really?
No, yes, I am a fan.
That was is that Valve?
Yes.
But it was Turtle Rock Studios is the company that came of it now.
Turtle Rock?
That's what it's called, Turtle Rock.
That's what Valve has become?
No, that's the people that actually developed the game, and Valve was part of that. Also,
So you know more about its history than I do.
I just read about it. I didn't know anything until 2 days ago.
I have never heard of Turtle Rock.
Turtle Rock
does
is
not
what
ring a bell.
is what Valve was now, what they were then. Now, all the people that developed Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 are Turtle Rock Studios now,
I see. They branched off.
and they have a new game coming out. It's a co-op zombie shooter called Back for Blood with a 4. It takes a lot of the elements of Left 4 Dead and incorporates some new.
I have not heard this news.
It was just a couple days ago. They just announced it. It's a new IP.
You know, I mean, look, this is the thing that pissed me off about that. And I guess Valve, and see, that's the only Valve title that I was ever really into. And I know they're like very famous for the what is it, Portal, like the Orange Box, Half-Life, all these,
Yeah.
you know, classic titles that
Team
I've never
Fortress.
actually touched. Okay,
Oh, you never played Portal?
Never.
Oh, I love
Never.
Portal.
And I know that those are legendary games, and you know, high praise from a lot of people. And supposedly they've never done a third installment of a game. They've never done like a second sequel
Of
any
Left 4
title.
Dead.
Of any title.
Any title? Okay.
Yeah. So a lot of like fans never, I guess, were expecting a Left 4 Dead 3. But to me, I was always kind of irked by the fact that we got Left 4 Dead back in, I think it was 2008 that it was released. And I loved it. I fell in love with it immediately. And then within not even a year of its release, we got Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
Boom. Like, and it was kind of like, whoa, that's like no updates, no fuck it. What is this? This is
Yeah.
And they just said, well, it just made more sense to make it a new game. This is easier, whatever. And that was 2009. Here we are in 2019, 10 years later, we still do not have a Left 4 Dead 3.
You won't. From what it sounds like, you're not going to get
It's
one.
not going to happen.
It's a.
Especially after what you just said. It sounds like
This is a game. It has some of the same elements, but they stress this is not a sequel. This is a brand new game. Just has a lot of similarities to their Left 4 Dead games.
No, they put out a game, the Vermintide series, where you kill rats.
I don't think I ever saw that.
Now that game, I played 1 and 2. It's a riot. It's a ton of fun. Only issue with it's so mob oriented that you can, when you play like a round, okay, in a round you got to run through everything, and 4 you got to kill a whole fucking bunch of rats, and it's so much nonstop action you can't even like take a sip of your drink or look at your phone. Nothing.
No,
it's just
that sounds
a
too hectic.
constant barrage, and it's actually such a barrage that like. It's fun for a few weeks, and you're like, dude, I just don't want this constant.
It's like anxiety starts.
But it's fun. And if you got a Game Pass, it's free 1 and 2. I believe.
Oh well, then.
that's the thing that I liked about Left 4 Dead. It's kind of like that, but there are lulls. The thing about it was that the AI, the director, if you will, you'd never get the same experience twice, even if you're playing single player, which is what I did for the longest time. I was not, I've talked about it multiple times on this podcast. I'm not a multiplayer guy. In fact, the Left 4 Dead series was the one series that I eventually did say, fuck it. I want to try my hand. But before I tried my hand at the multiplayer, I played through that game every fucking stage multiple times just by myself. And even that was a lot of fun. But it's not like, Resident Evil or a lot of these other zombie shooters where you can memorize where enemies spawn and how things are going to. It basically all depends on how you play. Like, how if you're doing really well, the AI recognizes that and then they swarm you. You're going to get fucking bombarded. There are maybe a few triggers, like a few key moments that are like scripted. But other than that, you never know what kind of experience you're going to have. And it does become a lot of fun. One of the things I liked about the multiplayer was the fact that you got one team as the humans. You got to get from point A to point B and survive. And then the other team gets to be like the special infected because, you had your zombies, which is like a horde.
Yeah.
But then there was like, 5 different special infected. And at random, the enemy team could get to be any one of these, and your job is to stop the human players.
Okay.
And it was you never knew what character you were going to get. It was a lot of fun. But going off to what you were just saying about the constant like bombardment, not being able to look at your phone or take a sip of your drink, there is definitely an element of that in Left 4 Dead where you can't really relax. You got to keep moving. You don't want to pause for too long. But there are lulls.
Yeah.
And without those lulls, it's just like it's like listening to a death metal album where there's no space in between any of the notes, just blast beats the whole time. It's like, yeah, that's cool for a few minutes, but dude,
you need to change something up a little bit.
It's like a Dying Fetus album.
Sort of. I mean, even Dying Fetus knew when to kind of.
Well, they did have groove parts for sure.
Now, I do want to stress that they just announced this game. Don't know when it's coming out. It's just now getting into development.
I'm glad to hear it, though.
It sounds pretty promising. Although I'm hoping they sell a lot of new tech and stuff in it. Like, but I started thinking about those newer Call of Duty games where you can like have super jumps and rocket packs and all that stuff. And I hope it's not shit like that.
Yeah. Speaking of rocket packs, Anthem just totally sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? They're staying committed to it. If they keep on releasing stuff like they're talking about, eventually it could be a good game. But I don't understand that concept.
See, I think I don't know if these games actually suck. Like they're suck like people make out, because it seems like, you go to Destiny, you got the Fallout 76, or even Red Dead Online. Everything's horrible now. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Nothing is good. Nothing's ever good. Is it really like it's that bad, or people just so spoiled that they want great right away, and it's going to be like I don't know, like, I mean, granted, I'm not playing a lot of these games, so I can't really speak on all of them, but like, what is the likelihood of these multi-million-dollar companies putting out shit that's just bad?
Pretty likely, I would say. I think it's a little bit of both. I think that, especially with Red Dead in particular, I can comment on that. I don't know anything about Anthem. I don't know anything about these other games. With Red Dead, yeah, part of it is fans get
It's the setting, right?
There are. I had fun with it for a little while. It was fun, and it's free, right? I mean, like the standalone Red Dead, the single player experience is well worth the $60 that you drop on it when it was brand new, right? So the fact that there is a multiplayer, and it's free, and that's all well and good. However, the way that Rockstar handled this one with the microtransactions, when you start putting like microtransactions out there, asking fans to spend real money on items while the online is in a beta phase. You're calling it a beta, but you're charging people money, and the whole system hasn't been fleshed out. That's fucked up.
I agree.
Okay, you can't. And there is a lot wrong with Red Dead Online. I mean, from the first day I played it, I'm like, it was buggy as fuck. Yeah, there's nothing to be done. Again, with GTA Online, I could go in there in passive mode and just do my missions and do my thing, get up with a couple buddies, and have a great time. Red Dead, as far as I know, I haven't been on in a couple months.
Yeah,
you can't do that. You're going to get ransacked by fucking shitheels. Okay, there's the griefers out there, and
the 4chan and Reddit guys are just finding you.
Yeah, they ruin the fucking experience, and so it's like you can, and then they keep adjusting like the values of, okay, you kill an elk and you skin it and you get this much for a pellet. They're making it harder and harder to actually grind. They're making it take longer and longer if you want to like upgrade your weapons. They're making it goddamn near impossible to do it without spending real money.
Yeah.
And it's a fucking beta.
Yeah,
Eat shit.
Well, and
it's just a cynical attitude. And I can't speak to Anthem or a lot of these other developers. Rockstar shouldn't be doing this.
no,
Okay. And if this is the case for if it's anything like this with these other games that you guys are talking about, then I would say that it's developers trying to cash in. But there's probably also an element of, fans.
Well, I've got a solution. It's totally not going to ever happen or work, but it's just a solution in my mind.
okay,
So they make, like we were talking about how GTA works so well because it's in the modern era, right? There's planes, there's trains, there's fucking tanks. You can do everything in that game, but in the cowboy world, you only have so many tools, right, at your disposal. So they should really focus, if they're going to do a GTA title or GTA Online, it's its own entity. It lives outside of all that. It lives outside of San Andreas, the old games. It lives outside of everything. Just make GTA Online, it's a separate thing entirely. And then if you do a story GTA and a story Red Dead, and don't do a Red Dead Online. Just do a Red Dead. Like a story like you did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't even fucking bother with the Red Dead Online. Other than maybe a zombie. Remember the first game had the zombie thing. Make it more simple. Like the zombie thing was simple. And it was digestible. Don't try to make it like a Wild West MMO. It don't work.
Yeah.
It didn't. It's not working.
I would be happy and I would be satisfied if they simply allowed a passive mode. That's just me.
So people can't just jump and gank you.
That's really one of the main reasons. Like, I don't mind grinding and like going out. If I just want to dick around, do a little bit of hunting, fucking shoot some bandits, whatever, do like some hideout missions. That's enjoyable to me. I don't want to have to worry about like a gang of 6 dudes fucking rolling up on me when I'm by myself and gunning me down and harassing me and never letting it up. Like, so it turned me off. Like, and because even when I would get online with my buddy, like me and my buddy Eric would get on there, and even 2 of us we couldn't match, like large gangs of people.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it just gets boring, dude, skinning animals just for the sake of it.
GTA Online too, man. I remember I would get jumped. Like somebody would have it out for me, like a sweaty, super like nerd, and I'd get lit up over and over again. And then I put it in passive mode, and they would come up to me when I was in passive. I'm like, yes, we got there. Like you could tell that they were mad. I was like, dude, you should have that option. Like I don't want you to kill me 40 times in a row because I'm trying to drive to this spot and do this little bank robbery. But so you're right.
See, to me too, I honestly, here's what I would be happy with: just bury it. I don't give a fuck about Red Dead Online, and a lot of people don't. Here's
Or
a couple
more story missions. More.
Here's a couple things they could do. Number one, GTA 5 is fucking old now. All right, I'm sure they're
2013.
I'm sure they're working on a fucking new Grand Theft Auto. You know what though? What about Bully? What about a sequel to Bully? What about a sequel to fucking Manhunt? I mean, that might be a little that shit was brutal as fuck, and I'd be curious to see how that goes over.
I never
in today's
played that game, but I
PC.
heard it did like castration scenes and all of it.
That was an absolute talk about like scary games, like terrifying games.
Yeah.
That was a dark fucking game. It wasn't like horror zombies and monsters, or like it wasn't like a Silent Hill or Resident Evil. It was like
You're a serial killer.
there's
and you're
like
chasing people around.
CCTV cameras and
Yeah.
stuff, and like it's
It's almost like what was the one where you just basically ran? You didn't have any Outlast, right?
yes.
It was you could that if I remember correctly, I had some of the scenes the same way where like you see stuff through CCTV. Maybe I'm thinking of a different game though.
You might be, because I don't think
No, it was another. Do you ever watch? It was Alien Isolation. Do you ever play Alien?
no, never
It's kind of the same thing. You have to survive. You don't have weapons or anything. You're just trying to get away from the aliens, and from the movie Aliens. Same thing. You see them through the screens, and you got to figure out what you're going to do.
right.
So I guess that was more of the manhunting type thing.
And we're talking about, how some game developers need to stay in their lane, and how Fallout 76 didn't do well. And a lot of people agree with me, and a guy said it on a full bore like podcast called IGN Unlocked. They were like a total big podcast.
Yeah.
And he goes, instead of rushing out, the new Elder Scrolls game, the single player, don't put it on that shitty ass outdated engine. That engine was great. They're using the same engine that they used for Fallout 3, Oblivion. Get rid of that fucking antique. Do
Yeah.
another goddamn engine. Ground up. Start right now. I don't care if it takes 5 years. Start right now. I'll be 45 when it comes out, and I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
Start right now. New engine.
Honestly,
Give me a new engine and a new, because your combat and all that shit ain't gonna work.
honestly, as good as Fallout 3 and Skyrim and all those games were, even at the time that Fallout 3 came out, it wasn't the best combat. It
No.
wasn't the and that's fine. I could
No.
accept that for a giant world and all that, and that was fine. But now we're talking about years later. It is antiquated beyond. Like I dabbled in Skyrim recently because I was trying to show, Matthew's getting older. I was like, oh, he likes dragons and knights.
Sure,
and stuff.
yeah.
And I'm like, all right, there are elements of this that are safe enough to show him, and
Yeah.
like he would be interested in it. Holy shit, that felt clunky.
Was it the original or
Playing
was
it.
it the remastered?
It's the remaster, but it still
It's
felt
the same-
clunky
it's the same
as
thing.
shit. It looks prettier, but it still feels
yeah, that's what I
shitty.
mean. They,
Well,
they
well-
didn't update the physics or anything or
Well-
any of that stuff. It was
well,
just the
this
water
guy-
looked better.
Yeah. This guy's point was 100% true. He said, yeah, he goes, they can make the game look great. It'll look modern, and they can do with no load screens. You go in a building, there's no loading. They can do all that. But if you got that same shitty-ass engine, it ain't going to matter.
Right.
It ain't going to matter, and it's going to suck. You got to get something new. You can't do like even Dark Souls, the first Dark Souls, and here again, I always talk about Dark Souls, but I'm telling you, the first Dark Souls game came out the same year as Skyrim, and I like Skyrim a lot. I put more hours in Skyrim than Dark Souls, even though I like Dark Souls more. But Dark Souls is just the fluidity of the movement. Same thing as Witcher.
Yeah.
The fluid, even though Skyrim is technically a more popular game than both, by far, really.
Yeah.
The combat blows.
Bethesda was never known for that.
But they
That's
can make something
fine.
better than what they got.
Exactly. But the thing with now I'm going to go back to Rockstar because I would say that Rockstar kind of almost has the opposite problem. Honestly, you can go back and I don't know if either of you guys have played Bully.
No.
No. All right. So I mean, you got GTA, you got Red Dead Redemption, you've got Bully. All three of those games operate very similarly in terms of the control scheme and all that shit. You can go back and play Bully, and I think it came out maybe 20. When did that fucking game come out? 2006, 2007.
I remember when
maybe?
it came out.
It's quite a long time ago now.
I never played it though.
You can go and play that game, and the controls still work fine. I mean, the graphics are very antiquated at this point.
Yeah.
But dude, it's still a great game.
2006.
A phenomenal soundtrack. I mean, the dialogue and all that was hokey, but it was kind of a hokey game, and that's fine. It was like instead of whereas in GTA you're shooting people with like anything from a 9mm to a fucking bazooka, you're fucking prostitutes and like blowing shit up. Bully, it's like you got a slingshot, baseball bat, eggs, a skateboard, firecrackers.
Yeah.
It's juvenile, sophomoric shit. It's rated teen rather than mature. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it was a small map, but you're going back. I mean, how many years? You're going back to 2006. Of course, it was a small map.
Yeah.
So what they could do today with today's technology,
Oh, yeah.
with a game like that, even if they rebooted that fucking franchise, which I don't think they need to do, they could just do a sequel. I think that there would be a good demand for that. I think that game, like when Red Dead Redemption, the original, came out, that was a sequel. That was a sequel to Red Dead Revolver, which wasn't a very successful game from Rockstar.
Did they do Call to War as too, or was that one of that series? Or
Say that again?
Call of
No,
War.
no. That's different. That's not Rockstar.
I'm a gaming
Call of
expert.
Juarez?
No, it's not.
No.
No.
Yeah, that came out maybe around the same time as Revolver, probably a little bit later. But Red Dead Redemption was a sequel. A lot of people don't know that because people don't know Red Dead Revolver.
I
It
knew,
wasn't
but I
as
never played
successful.
Yeah.
You had early days of Rockstar. Obviously, GTA is what launched it. Then you had State of Emergency. You had Max Payne. You had Manhunt. You had Bully.
I
there were a
forgot
lot
Max
of
Payne
titles.
was one of theirs.
Yeah, you had a lot of titles that Rockstar has at its disposal that they could still use and reinvigorate.
So yeah, what you're saying is basically they keep on going back to like the same two.
Right, it's Red Dead and
GTA.
GTA, and that's fine. Don't get me wrong. Both those franchises I'm a huge fan of.
Yeah.
But come on, man, give me another Bully.
Or they could even bump up like a L.A. Noir to like 1950s, right? Because there was an other
Did they
ones
do
like
LA
I
Noir?
totally forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
LA
they could,
Noir
but they
was
could,
another one.
so you could still do a timepiece, right? But you could, instead of the 30s or 40s or what, I don't know. I didn't play the first Noir, but you know what? I'm gonna play that game because they got
fucking game.
they got a remaster
Do they?
on X. You can get a remaster. It's not like totally remaster, but
Is it on Game Pass?
no.
Oh.
But I might buy it because it's not expensive and play it because I never played it and I've heard nothing but good things.
The only bad thing that I can say about it, it doesn't have the replay value that GTA and Red Dead.
That's
do.
fine if it's. I think it's like $20.
Yeah, definitely worth $20.
So I want to play that, but like, let's say it's the game that people say it is, and I'll take everyone's word for it. Why not bump it up since it's the 40s? Do 50s, right?
Or keep it in the 40s. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, you could do
make
like
it a
a
different.
Yeah,
But you
the
could
end of
you
the
can still
40s.
make it a timepiece, but you could do better with the modern tech. And instead of like the Red Dead games and the GTA games, they got to spend thousands and like everyone's got to work like crazy to get it 5 years. Make it a smaller game with that ain't as expansive as the other, but
Right.
you get the good look.
Yeah.
You get the good look.
That's what LA Noir and Bully both are. They're not as they. You can tell the similarities between the GTAs and the Red Deads. They all have a similar control scheme and all that, but they're not as massive. Like,
Just give me a better look, and you can still keep your small map. Just give me a few extra shit to do, more missions within that small map. Fuck, why not? Maybe cut back the price a little bit. Fuck, you can't go wrong.
That's not one thing. That's not something that Rockstar does. Their games
No.
are always full price. They never go on
But
sale.
I don't see whether that I guess just like the cut down the time frame. They don't have to put as much if they remade a Bully game like you're talking.
Yeah.
The Bully map was small, and then the LA Noir is small, but it would be still small, but compared to what do you call it? Scale wise, it ain't gonna be as big as a GTA game or a Red Dead, but it could still be big enough.
Well, those maps are small by today's standards. For 2006, I wouldn't say Bully was a particularly small map.
But was it still smaller than, say, GTA 3 or something that came out at the time?
Yeah, probably.
Or
But there
4.
was also, when you compare it to GTA, honestly, I don't know. I'd have to really go back and play some of those old GTA games and Bully as well. But
I guess what I'm saying is you don't have to make it the biggest shit ever.
right, yeah,
Just
not
make
everything
it
has to be epic. But like Brian just said, that's what Rockstar does. They don't fuck around. They're not going to make a $30 game.
They don't. No, I can't think of one like GTA. If you go to buy GTA 5 now, it's full price. They do not discount.
Well, it's because of how they sell.
yeah, because
LA
they still
Noir
sell.
doesn't sell like the others, and LA Noir is $20.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but LA Noir's been out for 9-10 years.
Yeah, well, how long has GTA 5 been out?
5
Since
years.
2013.
Yeah,
so,
going on
I
6
mean,
years.
It's the same thing. It's why
you're right.
It's why Nintendo does what they do. People buy it, and if people keep buying it, which as much as I shit on Sony, which will segue into this, Sony, their top games, their top fucking balls to the wall. I'll give to Sony credit. After a year, they cut that price. They cut that price for you.
I don't even know if they wait a year.
And
now,
I'll give Sony credit. Xbox does it too, for sure. But Sony's good about that. Like you could, Horizon Zero Dawn has 10 million sales, which is an amazing number.
Yeah,
you can get it $20 right now. Anybody can get Horizon Zero Dawn for $20. That's a good company. They're like, we made our money. Our money's made. We just want you to experience it. That's a good company. I like that.
I hate to go back, but I remember what I was going to say about Anthem. Anthem has the issue where it's almost like they didn't release a complete game. They're missing so much stuff. It's so buggy. They keep on sending out patches. It's like a 60% done game, and they're like, "Oh, and we'll have this new stuff that comes out with it." They did the same thing with No Man's Sky. Did you play No Man's Sky?
I didn't, and I do want to play it because I know what you're getting to.
But it
I
wasn't
didn't
complete.
because I heard bad things at the time.
But now that they're like they have another No Man's Sky coming out for free this summer, update to make it even more complete. But that was another game. They released that thing and it was like 60% done. It was not a complete game, but they delayed it so long they just basically put it out. And they've kind of gotten to the point where they've patched it, had updates, new DLC, and they've made it almost a complete game they wanted to. And it kind of sounds that's what Anthem's doing too. They're like, we're in it for the long run. This is going to take years. People don't want that. They want to buy a game that's complete.
I tend to. I don't know what it is about the space genre,
Yeah.
but the space genre, this side of Mass Effect. Mass Effect did very well, and they gave you a full deal. Mass Effect 1's considered one of the greatest all-time RPGs ever.
It is.
But it seems like this side of the Mass Effect 3, because Andromeda flopped too.
Yes, it did.
So this side of Mass Effect 3, the space games, just that includes Destiny, That includes Warframe, which is free. I can't bitch about them if they don't charge you anything. But in a lot of these space games, and then No Man's Sky, it's not really. You always got to wait for the second year for it to be really good.
Yeah, I
don't know why that is. I just don't get why they can't. Like the day it comes out, it's worthy.
It was
You
No
know?
Man's Sky was missing so much stuff that they had talked about. The base building, there was so much stuff, and I had friends who were waiting for that game to come out, and it finally came out, and I just made fun of them because it was so incomplete.
No,
It's gotten to the point now where it's, it's a 80% game, but still,
well,
it's not complete.
Now what they have out now, it was a Sony exclusive the first year or two it was out. I don't know how long it was, a year or two. Just you could only get it on a Sony PlayStation. They put it on Xbox One. Now you got the One X, so you get the bigger graphics boost.
Yeah.
And they completed it, and also all the X people were like, "What's your fucking problem with this game? This is a good game."
if you
But
were-
they patched the fuck out of it.
If
So the Xbox players are like, kind of like, "What do you mean this game is bad?" Like it's fine. And they love it.
if you were there in July or August of 2016 and you bought No Man's Sky day one, you were fucked. That game was not complete when it came out.
But to my point earlier, since Mass Effect 3, every space game that's come out
Issues.
has had tons of issues, and Mass Effect Andromeda was garbage. Destiny, when it first came out, Destiny 2, now you're into Anthem. These space games, it's like the space game curse. We're going to fucking trademark here, space game curse. Radio
Game
Underground,
curse.
we said it.
Well, it's
There's
because
a
they do-
space game curse. They cannot get it right. They got to patch the fuck out of it for
they
it's
don't release
playable.
because a lot of these big flagship games, they don't wait till they're done. They're like 2 years in advance. Like, you guys are coming out September 9th, 2018. That's when they're coming out. I think that was Destiny 2 came out around that time. They're like, you're coming out that day. Doesn't matter if you're not done. That game's coming out that day. Whatever you have done, and everything else gets patched or is DLC. They do it with movies too. It's like they know when movies are coming out 2 or 3 years in advance. Doesn't matter if you're done. You better have that shit ready by that day because we're not delaying this movie or this game. Why not just put a game out when it's done? I don't understand
that
it.
would make far too much sense.
What about Doom? Wasn't there a new Doom? I'm not
Well,
sure.
that
But
new
didn't
Doom,
do well?
that new Doom actually rated very well. But it rated very well and did very well.
Yeah, but I thought there was another one coming out like now.
But there's a Doom 2016.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Is one I
That
talk
was
about.
fun.
The one where everybody does Alex Jones voiceovers to it. There's a demon here.
But I thought there
You
was
know,
a new Doom game coming out like 2019 that was like on the verge of
Yeah,
coming
they're
out now.
they're redoing another Doom. Not redoing. They're making another Doom.
I guess I enjoyed the Doom that came, like the remake or not remake, the reboot, whatever that came out years and years and years ago. I had it for PC when I had a fucking PC. But outside of that, I've never been into space themed games. I don't know why. I guess it's good for me because from what I'm hearing you guys say,
Mine's secondhand. I didn't play it.
I have a confession here. I played, not a confession, but unpopular opinion. I played Mass Effect 1, which has consensus approval. Every game outlet, every gamer, everybody, you got to play Mass Effects. Mass Effects, yeah, I'm not drunk. I played it, and I did not like it.
No.
I tried to play it. It could be the technological difference because I tried to play it like 2 years ago. Like put it this way: the first time I tried to play Mass Effect was on my 1X. So whenever I bought this thing, it was my first attempt. And I don't know if it was the technology, and I love the Dragon Age series, the same developers, BioWare.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, it's just going to be Dragon Age in space. Why the fuck not?
No.
It didn't. Things draw you in right away. Dragon Age drew me right in. Skyrim, Dark Souls, all these games that Red Dead, they drag you right in when you're like, I kept waiting. I'm like, I'll keep playing. I kept waiting for that and to me, after 10, 12 hours, if you're not in,
Yeah,
you're done.
It's over.
Because Witcher is an example of a game that takes some. It's not the greatest game you ever play right off, but after about like 8 to 9 hours, I'm like, whoa. I'm I'm playing this game. This is good, but it wasn't like some of the other games with me that grab me immediately. But it slides you in, and then you're invested. But Mass Effect, sorry guys, I just can't do it.
No, I didn't play Mass Effect.
Can't do it.
I think part of that may have to do with, like you were saying, you jumped into it long after the fact, long after it was released. Okay, so you're dealing with old technology at that point. I'm the same way with BioShock. I didn't really jump into that game until like a few years ago. Like I said, fuck it. I had some Microsoft points to spend, and it was around like I think a Black Friday sale 2-3 years ago, and they had the BioShock trilogy marked way down.
Okay.
I said, fuck it. I remember playing the demo for BioShock when it was like initially released,
Me too.
and I was like, oh, this is pretty neat, whatever. And I just, I'm not a big FPS guy, but I've heard nothing but like amazing things about this series, let alone the first game. And man, when I started playing it, I was like, this is fucking dog shit. How did this even back in 2008 get the fucking reviews that it did? Because Left 4 Dead was 2008.
Yeah.
And Left 4 Dead was infinitely superior control-wise, like to me, like the feel of it. I always hate being that guy, although kind of part of me doesn't. Part of me does like to be that guy. That's like, this game fucking sucks. Why are you people all retarded?
Did you just play the first one?
I tried the second, I tried the
Whoa.
third, and they were all dog shit.
Yeah.
Speaking of being that guy,
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that too.
We
gonna be
talked
that
on
guy.
it a little bit, but you brought up a subject that we touched on a little bit. Well, we had Frank here. I love Frank to death, but you go all over the map with Frank's here, so we like broke right apart from it. But you posted that that thing about heavy metal covers being corny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that whole thing of like, hey, check, like some stuff that's like supposed to be cool and it's just not, man. And you think it would be cool, like we were talking about the Slayer chicks.
Oh, God.
We were talking about like, hey, this hot chick that plays Slayer, check her out. She's like moderately attractive, and you get all the oh, that's a hot chick playing Slayer. It's like, and the same thing with like the heavy metal covers of fucking whatever. It doesn't matter what the song is. Yeah. It's kind of like played out, and I'm sick of it.
Well, how patronizing is it that, oh, look at this hot chick that can kind of play Slayer, and I'm supposed to fucking care because she's hot? Like, because of your looks,
and sometimes she's only moderately attractive.
Right, yeah, so, like I remember, like, oh, look at this Asian chick in stripper heels doing double kicks to Decapitated. So fucking what?
So she
I saw
practiced
that
real
one
hard.
too.
Like, what prompted that post?
There's an ass shaking one. There's a girl that ass shakes to heavy metal songs, like
Twerk, you
twerks.
mean?
Yeah. I still call it ass shakes because I'm old.
Yeah, I like that.
But she's twerking to fucking Spears of Madness. Swear to God.
So
Swear to God. Like,
I looked at some of the first video I looked at because he mentioned it earlier, and I looked it up, and it was a girl who was moderately attractive, goth looking chick, but she was pretty attractive, and she's playing Raining Blood on the guitar, and she had tattoos, and he had said that everybody thinks they're hot because they're playing it. I'm like, no, and I scroll down the first comment, it's like, oh my God, you're playing Raining Blood and you got tattoos, you're so hot. It's like it's always the same thing.
Well, it's not like what actually prompted that post for me is a lot more.
I liked your post a lot more.
If I'm being
some bad
100%
ones.
honest and open about where that came from, it's a very egocentric place because, as you know, well, at least you know,
yeah, I do.
I put out I when I was laying in bed, like I re-edited the Reigns of Castamere.
Sure.
That so I years and years ago I did a death metal version of Reigns of Castamere from Game of Thrones, and I decided it might be neat to.
So you're railing against what you did.
Well, no.
No,
I like what I did.
I'm just messing with you.
I like what I did, and that's where it gets egocentric.
Yours was so good, you start making fun of others.
Well, here's the thing. I made
His was
that.
good.
I would.
was really good.
I'll be honest. I would not have even made that had something similar already existed. But when I looked up, I am interested. Look, heavy metal versions of like Britney Spears and fucking Cyndi Lauper or that shit can. I don't care. That shit's all corny as fuck too.
Okay.
When Limp Bizkit came out with the George Michael cover, I was like, this is fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I've never liked shit like that. But what I do like is like a death metal or heavy metal take on something like a Game of Thrones theme, like something that's like classical music. It lends
works.
itself very well to like a metal cover, right? And so I'm like interested in when Reigns of Castamere is a really the Game of Thrones theme. Who my buddies in Night Kid did a phenomenal job covering the Game of Thrones theme. There are very few to that level. They fucking did it. But when I look up stuff like that, for the most part, what you find, like you go to YouTube, type in Reigns of Castamere metal. I'm proud to say that mine's one of the first that pops up. It's on the front page, but it's far from the top. You got to
There's
scroll
probably
down a
some
little bit.
chick that half-ass plays it on an acoustic.
No. There are let me just say this. Every one of these musicians is better than I am. They are better video makers. They're better guitar players. They're better across the board than I am, except for the fact that they're corny as fuck and it's gay. Like, even the guy, like 331 E-Rock, dude, phenomenal guitar player. Maybe the best guitar player on YouTube in the world of metal.
Wow.
But his version of it, it's so like guitar jack-off session.
Yeah.
It's like, look at me, look at like these 6 solos, and it's cheesy. Guitar solos are fucking cheesy unless you're fucking Dimebag Darrell or like somebody that's like got real heart and soul. Usually it's just look how fucking good I am. Okay?
Yeah.
That's not, I don't care about that. And then the other guys are like they're really good at metal guitar, but they're also vocalists and they're like, yeah, and it's just so fucking cheesy. And they get a lot more attention than mine, and they get a lot more likes than mine, and I promise you this isn't envy or jealousy speaking.
It is, but I'm cool with it.
It's ego, because I think mine is fucking more to the heart of what the original.
Well, yeah,
it's death metal, but it's. I feel like mine's more tasteful. I'll say it.
I tore you down a little bit here, but here's where I build you back up. That I'm not just saying this. Reigns of Castamere, I haven't looked at all the different people or anything, but I've looked your other song that you did, which I think is the best version of it on the internet. No argument. And not objectively, not because you're my brother-in-law. You did a better job than everybody objectively. Is fucking River Bottom Nightmare Band. That Christmas song from Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas. The bad guys from River Bottom come and play their song on stage. Yours is better than everybody's on the internet. There's guys that got, like, I seen one guy with an acoustic. I seen even a live one, like people are playing it live, that have more views than yours.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
Because people
it
have-
sucks.
No, people have poor taste.
There is one group that does it live that I was very impressed by. It's like
I haven't looked in a while.
I was watching it this year, and there's a band that did it, and they did a fucking phenomenal job. Excuse me. And the fact that it's a live setting and like it's like all these different guys doing the different voices adds something to it. But I don't have a lot of beef with that, like with the covers of that song. Or it's not about the covers that I've done.
I'm talking about
It's
me.
just-
I have beef with it. Me.
like the one that I'm working on now that I've always like had in my mind that, man, I want to do this, but it's such a huge song and it's so much work to take on that it's another Game of Thrones song, and I started dabbling in it just last night. For anybody listening that's familiar with Light of the Seven, that's the name of the track. It's the track that plays in the episode. Spoiler warning for anybody who's behind season 6 in Game of Thrones. But the episode where Cersei fucking destroys everyone. I'll leave it that way to keep it kind of open ended for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about. But for those of you who do know what I'm talking about, you'll know. It's like this piano interlude. It's so fucking awesome, and and there are metal versions of it, and they're all shit. They're all like they all like there's like this fucking cello, like there's like a riff, or if you, for the lack of a better term, there's like a piece toward the middle, toward the end. That's like these cellos. It's this awesome fucking piece, and no guitar player even attempts it. They let like keyboards do it, and then they do a wanking solo over it, which just fucking ruins the fucking vibe. It's like, no, play that fucking riff. Play what the cellos are fucking playing, you dickhead.
Yeah.
They're harmonizing. You should be harmonizing. Don't.
What they're doing is the equivalent of a guy at a gym who's got a good physique. Instead of just going through his workout, getting his work in, he's looking at the mirror and flexing his muscle. It doesn't change what the work he's doing, but he's showing that hey man, look at my arms, look at my tremendous trapezius. They're just fucking stroking themselves.
You know what it is, dude? Here's the truth.
Put it this way: to me, a guy that's a really good solo guy that can do solos, to me, you're just a 6'10" guy that can dunk. I don't give a fuck.
Here's the thing, dude.
I don't care.
There are guys. One of my favorite YouTube guitar players, Charlie I want to say this right. Charlie Para del Riego, fucking phenomenal. One of the best guitar soloists on you. He's like a YouTuber. He's in bands and stuff. Fucking amazing. There are a lot of really good guys who do it right. That are like blistering speed, amazing technique, and they have heart and soul at the same time. But the key component is they're tasteful. They have the heart. They have the soul. It's not just some corny fucking wank session. The thing with here's the truth.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah, we can. That's a that could be a rabbit hole I don't want to go down because that's a tricky conversation. Him specifically. What I'm getting at is, but Yngwie is corny too. A lot of metal is fucking corny.
Yeah.
It's fucking cheese dick. It's a bunch of fucking nerds.
Well, like Pine read
Okay.
the greatest quote ever about a metal band, but it's true. He goes, "Manowar has never been cool, but they're awesome."
Right.
It's not cool, but it's the show.
But
it's,
that
yeah, it's like it's not cool. Like cool, like me and you've talked about this. Like everyone talks about like I remember the metal guys. They would go like, you go to a show and like. And I'm a metalhead, but I'm a nerd, so that kind of clouds my view. But like a 900 thing, oh, that's from an old 900 number on the fucking YouTube.
They had a commercial for Dianetics also.
Yeah. Anyway, oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, the fucking
Whoever recorded this thing off TV just put the whole thing on YouTube.
That's at Cult.
That's Scientology.
Scientology. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, a lot of that heavy metal stuff is like, yeah, we're dark, we're mean, we're this and that. But the reality, like even I thought, like, yeah, we're all the toughest, we're the meanest, and that. The truth of the matter is that no one in the metal community would ever admit the average country music crowd or the average rap crowd would beat the fuck out of the average metal crowd. It wouldn't even be a fight. Rednecks and guys from the hood will beat up metal people. It's the truth.
It is corny stuff.
Metal's nerds, man. It's us. It's nerds.
Yeah.
Like, now go to a country concert. It's a bunch of 6'4" fucking rednecks that'll just lay you out. Same thing with rap. I mean, like, it's just brothers. That's the only difference. It's like most people like simplistic stuff.
Yeah.
They don't like technical sweeps and tempo changes. They don't give a shit about that.
No, it's like when we used to watch.
So you're not dark or cool. You're
Dragon
a fucking
Force.
nerd,
You used to
man.
watch
Just like me.
Dragon
You're a
Force
fucking
videos.
nerd. Stop it.
Dragon Force is corny as fuck, but we used to watch it because the guy would just go on a guitar. Wasn't anything special. It was just really fast. But it's corny as fuck. But it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Iron Maiden. Okay, go back to Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden was one of the first bands to start that whole like falsetto. Them, Judas Priest, whatever. We could have a long conversation.
cock rock sort of.
But like, Iron Maiden is fucking kind of cool. Okay, like, I'm not the biggest Iron Maiden fan, but they did a lot of like the harmonizing riffs and stuff. trying to be an Iron Maiden tribute band or cover band is not fucking cool.
No.
That's fucking lame. And that's more what I see when I see a lot of these YouTube guitar players or YouTube songwriters, these people that are fucking doing heavy metal covers of non-heavy metal songs or whatever. You're the fucking guy who doesn't have, you're not the guy who was artistic enough to come up with this sound. You're doing a caricature of this sound, and it sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I can't stand about it. And I talk about Dimebag Darrell. I mentioned him earlier. Most guitar solos, like when the reason that
Pantera was cool.
Pantera was cool, but here's the thing: when it's specifically about guitar, you talk and guitar solos. You can say what you want about Pantera. A lot of people are fans. A lot of people aren't. They were cool. They weren't. Whatever. Dimebag, and if you argue this, I want to have a conversation with you. You can't argue that Dimebag Darrell wasn't like that. That motherfucker. It's like B.B. King, like certain guitar players, B.B. King, these great blues players of days past. That instrument is an extension of your body, or it's like literally like your voice. You're translating your soul, your voice through that motherfucker. That's what a guitar solo should be. Eddie Van Halen could do it. Dimebag Darrell could do it. Jimi fucking Hendrix could do it. And there are a lot of modern guys who can fucking do it. But most of these jack-offs in metal bands, like, your take your pick, your run-of-the-mills, your fucking YouTube guitar players, that ain't them. They're just technique freaks. They're guitar nerds. They're I don't care that you can play sweep arpeggios. I don't care what gear you have or what fucking tone. If your guitar isn't fucking saying anything. I like Devin Townsend's attitude that dude's a fucking phenom. The dude's a
Very
musical fucking
vocal and guitar both.
He can shred like a motherfucker, but he doesn't unless it's called for. He hates super shredder shit because it usually distracts from the point of the music. It's a fucking look at me session. That's his attitude, and he's 100% right. So he doesn't do a whole lot of it. I mean, he can, but he's not fucking going out doing
He puts more of his effort into his vocals
right.
So his riffs aren't by no means simple, but they're not out of this world either. And he just sings his ass off over it.
But he can play that shit.
He can.
He just opts not to because he's more interested in the composition. It's not him. So,
to quote Nirvana, you got to serve the song.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, and it was Chris, their bass player, who was no great bass player, and I never became a great bass player either. But he said it best. He goes, I just wanted to serve the song, man. Like, they bring something to me. Yeah, let's just make a song. I don't care about, not everybody can be a Flea. It's cool if you're Flea, if you are Flea, but don't try to be Flea if you're not. Just fucking, just do a song. And I agree with that, Because, I remember one time when we were in a band, me and Pine here.
Yes.
And every song had 3 or 4 chords, and we were terrible musicians.
Not good. No.
We were awful. But the funny thing was all the guys, like the bands we played with that were like established. Like we played with a band called Halloween. Okay, they played Europe and everything. They were from here, but remember they were pretty big in the '80s. They were of the vein of Iron Maiden, like that kind of and like. Brian, their singer, absolutely loved us. He was like, dude, and we got to open for him. Like, hey, man, we're just, our songs are whatever, blah blah. I'm like,
yeah.
we're just doing this for fun. After we played, he came right up to us. He goes, "You guys are entertaining as hell." I'm like,
"That's all."
What? I'm like, he's like, we don't know how to play good. He goes, "I don't care about that anymore. Like what you can play or like your chords or." He goes, I'm entertained. You guys are entertaining. That's what's good. You're like, just keep doing what you're doing, man. Like you don't have to be great at your instruments. It's
how many of those bands worship Kiss?
I don't even want to talk about.
How many of those bands worship AC/DC?
I like AC/DC.
Not that Angus was a decent lead guitar player, but
it's simple.
None of those guys were known for their musical prowess.
No.
They knew how to write a fucking song, like something that was entertaining, something that would, And so that's to me, that's the thing. It's about the energy. It's about the soul. Not that I'm like some phenomenal but
I just want to argue one thing. Kiss sucks. AC/DC does not. So I do not. I've never liked Kiss.
yeah, me. Well,
But
I don't like
you're saying-
I don't like Kiss.
Songs.
I don't like Kiss's music at all. I respect Kiss, the entity, the business
They've
entity,
basically been telling you for 40 years, we're making money. That's all we're here to do is make the money.
and they don't, and they make no bones about it.
No.
none
in
at
the
all.
process, they managed to write some songs that I could dig on.
Yeah,
but
Beth.
not a lot of them.
I don't
Beth,
like.
right.
I don't think I like a single song they make. I
gotta
can't
be
think
honest,
of one.
I like Detroit Rock City. I think that's a decent song.
I
It's
don't.
a decent riff.
It's okay. It's probably the best.
What's
one.
that? You know what the song I think I might actually I like one song by them, and it wasn't even really like a. It's like the era where they like weren't Kiss anymore. I like
Wake 'em
Lick
Up?
It Up
Oh, I hate that song.
I like
I
Look
love
It
it.
Up!
I love it because it's so bad.
Oh,
because
God,
of the
so bad.
cheese.
It's so cheesy.
Yeah.
But like I said, as a 40-year-old man, I'm now. I made fun of Manowar my whole life.
Yeah.
I spent my lifetime making fun of Manowar. Now I'm like, I like Manowar. I'm like,
Well,
I like.
there's actually two songs.
I don't
by Kiss
care.
like.
I don't care that
love,
guitar player's in prison for pedophilia. I like the band.
I
He
love,
could be in prison for the rest of his life. That's fine. I'm talking about the music.
I love Lick It Up because it is so terrible. And then they did the song from the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Oh,
God gave
baby,
rock
right.
and roll to you. And only love it because it's at the end of Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So, two. Anything else? Detroit Rock City is okay.
But one thing
Anything else I'm not a fan of.
one thing that was cracking me up when I was showing you Pine though, like think about it.
Oh, wait. I Was Made for Loving You, Baby. Their disco song.
Oh,
Yeah,
God, yeah.
I dug Love Gun. I dug God of Thunder. There was a few.
And
I just, man. Oh,
that Manowar video, they have 100,000 people crying.
it was insane. From all
and
over
I'm like,
the world.
I'm like, and to me, I like them in I guess an ironic way. I think it's just so cheesy, it's good. Like Troll 2, right? They're Troll 2 of music.
They're the
But
best
I'm
close
watching
band
them
ever.
play in Europe, and they got people from all over the world because they're playing the song "Warriors of the World." So you got like a Mexican flag, you got Mexican guys there, you got Japanese flag, you got the American flag, you got all these people, and these people are crying,
Singing along to every
singing
single
along
word.
to it. Hot chicks. I'm like, you know what? I've been wrong my whole life. Manowar's Manowar's. Oh, I guess I'm wrong. Manowar, you win.
No, you were
Manowar
absolutely
beat
right
me.
the first time. It's
Manowar
just,
being like,
they're entertaining.
they're entertaining. Whatever they did right, whatever thing about their mentality, as much as I made fun of it, that worked. It worked great.
I couldn't
because some
tell
people
you-
are crying. People are-
I couldn't tell you a single song outside of Gloves of Metal because you showed it to me.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And I gotta say that wasn't a bad riff. The rest of it is terrible.
But it's not anything
Oh.
super technical or
No,
overly complicated.
yeah, good riffs are good riffs,
Yeah.
dude. I mean,
Well, I was putting it on Snapchat, like me watching Manowar, and the first thing I got was from Ninja intern Jason,
yeah.
and he's like, you know, their guitar player was arrested for child pornography. I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's awesome.
But he's not in the band anymore.
He's not. He's gone. He's out. He's in jail, man. Like, but it's funny thing because that happened. Like, if you go to their official channel, all their comments are disabled
yeah.
because they don't want to
So,
hear it.
Stones, as far as your post about the cheesy metal covers goes, do you have any special selections that you would like to point out? Like metal cover songs of other
Well,
types of
again,
things?
that was prompted mainly by
just what
me
you talking
searching Reigns of Cat, or actually, it was me searching Light of the Seven.
I
To
have a
see
few.
if there was a version out
mean, I
there that
posted
already
a few.
existed that rendered my effort useless. There isn't. And then I was like, you know what? Let me check on the Reigns of Casimir, see if anybody else. Now there is, I will say, there are a couple other bands. If you type in Reigns of Casimir, death metal or black metal, there are a couple bands that have done a commendable enough job.
Yeah.
You know, but the metal, just regular metal, just typing in metal, you won't see those guys. You still see mine, which I'm pretty proud of. But the metal covers are just I don't know. Look, maybe it's just me. I'm just not into the way that they sing it, because it's actually got lyrics to it. Okay?
Yeah, yeah,
It's
I know.
actually a song, so-
I know.
And they and there's the one that sticks to mind. I don't remember the guy's name, but he's got like a fucking beanie hat and like a t-shirt. He looks like a hipster.
Tim
and he's
Pool.
doing like, obviously nobody can see what I'm doing other than these two guys here, but he's doing like this shit.
The reach
Reach
and pull.
bowl.
Yeah,
the reach bowl.
and
The reach bowl.
like, and it's in a non-ironic fashion.
Well,
it's just fucking stupid.
I'll call somebody out right now, and I don't care. This is what I got to do to get attention to us.
Yeah.
There's a whole production company or a channel that does all these songs like Sultans of Swing and Toto, Africa metal style.
Frog Leap.
Frog Leap.
Eh.
Dude, listen, bro, I'm sure you're an all right guy, and I don't want anything bad to happen to you, but you doing your tongue wagging and bullshit, you are fucking corny as fuck.
Oh yeah.
And I watch your shit. You're a talented musician. On your worst day, you're a better musician than me. I'll admit it. But, dude, you suck. I don't like your shit. It's like
His Adele cover was mildly entertaining to me. I didn't think it was too bad, but everything else, I agree with
it's
you.
like, I think back, of all people on Earth, to quote something, Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy's wife, was talking about one of these kids that they had that show where they had a battle of the bands and like they could go to Ozfest if they were good enough or whatever. One of the bullshit reality shows. And it wasn't the Ozzy Osbourne show, it was a separate show that she did. And they picked who got to be on Ozfest. And she told one kid, and they were like a solid band, but he had like the spiky hair and he was doing all these wild movements, like whipping his fucking guitar on. She's like, everything you do is forced. She's like, you're a good player. You know how to play your instrument. Your band's pretty good. But everything you do is forced. Frog Leap Studio, everything you do is forced. It's forced bullshit. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
You suck, in my opinion.
I won't argue that.
And you're better than me at everything, by the way. Just so anything that gets looked up by me, yeah, I suck too, but so do you, motherfucker. You suck too.
Yeah,
That's just my opinion.
He definitely knows how to record. He's like a studio engineer.
Great quality, great everything, but you suck.
And in his Adele cover, the reason I even found it was because Pete Catrelli was the lead guitar player on that. I think, am I getting that last name wrong? I may be fucking that up, but he's a guitar player on YouTube who's fucking phenomenal, and he does a lot of really cool shit. That's how I found that guy, is because of the lead guy he had on that track. For what that's worth.
Stop the tongue wagging. Stop the bullshit.
Just play the music.
He looks like he belonged back in like 2002, 2003 like era of like new metal with
he's
the
like
long braided goatee and all
Yeah,
that.
he's like a
Power
skinny
Man 5000.
He's like a
stuff.
skinny Guy Fieri or something. I don't know what the fuck.
Aesthetics.
I was like, dude, hey man, more power to him. 37 million views for video. Hey, I'm an idiot. Whatever, but I don't like it. That's just me.
I was going to point
hear
out
ya.
a couple of songs that were metal bands covering songs, and they were most of them were posted on your Facebook post. But any of the Disturbed covers, gone.
Well, I don't really. The problem right off the gate there is I don't consider Disturbed like
No, I
metal.
know, but
Like,
They're hard rock. They're
Yeah,
hard
I mean,
rock.
I
they're-
agree.
they're metal,
But they're classified under metal,
right. Yeah, no, they are, but like,
or the couple I posted, the Megadeth one. The boots were made for walking.
yeah. Now that is a metal band off of their first release. I laughed at that song the first time I heard it. I thought it was hilarious.
Dianetics. There's the commercial.
But no thanks. No
It was
thanks,
bad.
Dave.
The other one I posted was, is it Children of Bodom or Bodom?
Oh fuck, dude! I
Bodom.
watched about 5 seconds of that. I hate Children of
The
Bodom.
Oops, I Did It
fucking
Again.
hate Alex Leho. I think he's a fucking
All bad
Cool,
ones.
dude. We were haterating on this podcast
Yeah, no,
tonight.
I mean, phenomenal guitar player. He's a little fucking
Twerp.
Yeah, well,
How do you
Dude,
be
I
from?
saw him
How do you
at-
be from a Nordic country and be 5'2"?
his fucking.
How is that even happening?
I don't like his vocal work. I hated when I watched him live, and it was all he did was like hawk loogies in the air, like and spitting on his keyboard player from fucking behind. It was like something about that guy just rubs me wrong, and I've never been a big enough fan of their music to give a shit. So, Children Bodom can fuck off. Their cover of stupid Britney Spears can fuck off.
Agreed.
So bad.
Megadeth, I got a lot of respect for, and I've love a lot about Megadeth, but fuck that cover. But that is a phenomenal album, actually. Killing Is My Business is still one of my favorites.
Now, I will say, I have to give some street cred to Disturbed versus a band that I actually like because I don't like Disturbed. I love In Flames, but In Flames' Land of Confusion does not compare to Disturbed's. And Disturbed is a band I don't like, and In Flames is a band I love. So, in effect, I'm contradicting everything I believe by saying Disturbed does a lot better job. And I like their fucking... And I love it as a song itself on its own. Disturbed's Land of Confusion, I love it. It's a good song.
Disturbed got way closer to the mark of the original, both in tone, everything about it was much closer to the fucking Genesis version. In Flames kind of went their own way with it. The production quality wasn't as good. It was a little weird. I would rather listen to the Genesis version than either Disturbed or In Flames, to be honest.
And that was
the thing is, I agree with Deathspit that Disturbed did do a better job. However, they hit so close to the mark that I'll just listen to Genesis version. It's not as heavy, but it's still the original and it's better. And In Flames, nice try, but I don't care.
Well, and not just metal versions of songs. Most cover versions of songs aren't as good as the original.
I mean, that really depends. Obviously, I think Jimi Hendrix might have something to say as well as Bob Dylan when it comes to
I'm not saying
no. Every once in a while, one's a fucking leagues better than the original.
But there's some that are just.
But
well,
in
that brings me to
no.
another subject about and I listen to Gavin McGinn's a lot. I don't get political on here. This is not political. This is the music opinion.
I'm going to let you get political while I take a piss.
But he's talking about if people every time they hear a rock song, well, you're just doing stolen blues riffs. And he goes, did you ever listen to an old blues album? He goes, old blues sucks. It's all just you can't hear the music. It's you can copy something and improve upon it. He goes because he was talking about the Immigrant song, dung, da, da, da. He's like, that's a jam. He goes, but when you listen to Robert Johnson, it's
everybody. Well, it's been talked about a lot, especially with the Led Zeppelin and stuff. Or even Rolling Stones, actually, too. It's all based on old blues songs. It's based. Maybe it's a ripoff. I don't know. But all music is influenced by other music. There's always going to be similarities between stuff.
Yeah,
Nothing is completely different. Someone heard something that inspired them to write this next thing.
Yeah, that doesn't mean anyone who plays a keyboard is ripping off fucking Mozart.
Yeah,
you got a keyboard. Or no, I'm sorry, Beethoven. Oh, you got a keyboard. You're a fucking No,
every generation of music has inspired a next generation of music. It's not ripping off music. It's nothing is going to sound completely unique. I mean, unless you just get the random sounds making music. But all music is influenced by something from before.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't have you can't say it's all a ripoff of blues. So anything made after blues is just a ripoff, dude. I'm sorry, Led Zeppelin is not ripping off fucking Robert Johnson. It is not. Listen to the two things. That old blues shit, most of it's crap. I'm sorry, it's crap. You try to listen to it, it sucks.
I will say this.
There's B.B. King is a good player. There's a lot of good players that have been. But I can't sit there and listen to that old blues that sound like it was recorded with one goddamn microphone in a shed in Mississippi.
No,
it sucks. Sorry.
That's what I was going to say. The production quality of that, it might have been great then, but it was recorded. They obviously don't have high-tech studios like we did even in the 60s. It's not going to sound as good.
Yeah, and before anyone goes out there, hey, you're a racist. Well, okay, I'll meet you halfway and say, okay, people that go on about Babe Ruth's record, it doesn't matter because blacks weren't playing. So Babe Ruth has all those hits because he played against all white people. Everything is good at its time. It ain't anymore.
Well,
okay, it was good once and it sucks now.
to offer a counterpoint to that,
Screamin' Jay Hawkins was pretty good, I guess.
to offer a counterpoint to that in terms of the production quality, at least, I would argue that a lot of that kind of, to me, adds to. Look, okay, let me I'll step back a little bit. I look at music as like I look at language. It evolves. It evolves dependent on the surroundings, and as time goes on, and music travels from Europe to America, from Japan to whatever, different styles influence new styles, just like language. You know what I mean? It evolves. So, the whole thing where, well, if it wasn't for B.B. King, this guy wouldn't have existed. Well, no, if it wasn't for B.B. King, somebody else would have done it, and then it would have evolved somewhere else. And if it wasn't for, again, you got Mozart, and you've got, like, tribal music. You've got, like, all these different components that come together that bring us what we listen to today. And there's a certain level of respect that I think we all have to have for all of it, whether you like it or not. Bluegrass, blues, classical, jazz, whatever it might be. When it comes to, like, personally for me, punk rock is a point of discussion that I have. I fucking loathe Green Day, Blink-182, The Offspring, pop punk.
Yeah.
Right? I fucking can't stand it. Even I'm not the biggest punk guy, but even some of the non, radio hit punk bands, like our good buddy Eric Henkel, who we all here know in this room, he and I have had many a conversation. He's always trying to get me into, like, hey man, listen to these guys. Listen
No
to
Effects. You love No Effects.
No Effects. Listen to what's the not refused. Rise Against.
Right. Oh.
And which is considered punk today, I guess.
Ugh.
I can't jive with any of that. To me, punk is like old Misfits is punk. Old Ramones, like the Ramones, the Sex Pistols,
Or like
the
Minor
Clash,
Threat.
or like when you get into like the '80s, like hardcore, like thrash punk, like Adrenaline OD is like my favorite punk band. But what all that shit has in common, there was like a raw. It wasn't. I like when it comes to punk rock, when it comes to the blues, I prefer it to sound like it came out of a dirty garage off an 8-track or a single microphone.
Yeah.
I don't like polished because I feel like that raw, shitty production quality adds to the heart.
Well,
it adds to the aesthetic.
My point wasn't that it's terrible and it sounds. It's that the recordings we have now are so muddled you can't make stuff out.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's like Blind Willie Tell or whatever. You
don't even know what he's playing.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
I understand that. I would still argue that I know what you mean. Well, I will say that I know what you mean, but
Almost like the degradation of the recording.
right? Yeah.
I'm not saying that you can't even tell a lot of what he's saying.
But I know what Deathspit's original point was like. Oh, everybody's just ripping off this guy, and you hear it like even everybody's ripping off the Beatles, and the Beatles were ripping off Chuck Berry, and Chuck Berry was ripping off some other fucking guy,
Marty
or whatever.
McFly.
It's like, no, you're not ripping them off.
Chuck Berry ripped off Marty McFly.
You're right. You're
Well, then you're all ripping off, the old players from Europe because they were the first to just
You're all ripping
conceive
off,
of like some. Yeah, you can't fucking.
it's not
right,
ripping
so
off.
It's not
It's-
rip off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's influence.
That's my point.
That
It's
was
influence.
before you walk back in the door. Is exactly what we
So
said.
even before Europe, even before Mozart, even before the violin was ever invented, people in China were playing an erhu.
Well,
They were
they-
playing
well,
like
they-
different. So-
That's the artist snobbery of everything because that's how nerds operate. Because you'll never see like in a jock setting, like, hey, dude, that Mike Tyson's ripping off Muhammad Ali, man.
Well,
Muhammad Ali was first, and
Right.
he's black, and so is Mike Tyson, and they punch people. He's ripping off Muhammad Ali. That's like not like that ain't how like things are. You just like someone's before you, and you're after them. That's
that's
know?
the world of athletics, which evolves as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, as we know,
especially
nobody
with
boxes like
chemical
this anymore.
assistants. Yeah,
I wish they did. It'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
two white guys that step out of line.
That's Queensberry rules.
Yeah, the Queensberry rule, but there was we don't want to go down that rabbit hole. The bottom line is, shit, everything evolves. Okay, language evolves, thought evolves, music evolves, athletics evolve. It all changes. Now the difference between obviously boxing or sports versus music and art, it's the music and art. That's something that's kind of subjective, right? I mean, you can say, the blues sucks, death metal sucks, fucking classical music is boring, and you're not wrong. You can
That's
say
your
any of
opinion.
those things, and
you
you're
can't
not
tell
wrong.
someone's wrong about their opinion.
To you.
Yeah.
But you're not. You can't argue that. Oh, Mike Tyson didn't hit that hard. There's
Yeah,
what?
yeah,
there's no
you're
object-
objectively wrong. Like you're a
His
fucking
opponent,
idiot.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there's a little difference there. But yeah, I mean, it's like, look. Now you can make the argument that there are prodigies or geniuses. Like, holy fuck, dude. Chuck Berry did something that nobody even thought. That he took it to a different place.
Absolutely.
That really changed the face of music. The Beatles, Zeppelin, whoever you want to fucking talk about.
Yeah.
Any of these fucking legendary fucking musicians. And, in Led Zeppelin's case, of course, a lot of people these days are saying that, they just got, they took from this. There were other people that were actually the genius. Okay, fine. That's not a discussion I'm interested in having. You get my point.
Yeah.
Look, Eddie Van Halen didn't invent finger tapping, okay?
No.
But he was the first person that used that technique to do certain things, and combined with his, the way he EQ'd everything, it created a sound that hadn't been heard before.
Well, I want to tell you something that you'll appreciate because I argued on the behalf of Pantera. Some guy that I've been in a forum with these guys since 2006. And we were getting into music, and we're talking about Pantera. Like me and some guys that talk about the importance of Pantera in music. And then he brought up this one. Well, they ripped off this band called Exhorder. I don't know the spelling, but it's an EX Horder. I'm like, oh, really? They did? He goes, yeah, they were out first. They did it, and Dimebag Darrell was a fan of this guy, and he totally ripped off Exhorder. It's a total rip-off bullshit. And this guy's a metal snob, a complete metal snob. I'm like, all right, dude. Give me some YouTube videos, some clips. I want to hear Exhorder because I'm not going to fight with the guy, argue with him. I want to hear Exhorder. Like, what do they got? Maybe they've got, and he sends me some Exhorder clips and YouTube videos, and it is pure fucking shit. It's shit. It's not anything interesting. I'm like, bro, Exhorder is not known because this is crap. This is crap. That's why they're not known. He's like, you're just fucking so blind. And I said, dude, I'm a casual Pantera fan. I admit my whole thing with Pantera is their whole influence on nu metal. They created nu metal. Even though they weren't a nu metal band, that groove style of metal, like the groove
Certainly
metal,
influenced
like,
it.
yeah, the kind of where it kind of had a groove to it. They created a whole genre. And then you're bringing up this shit that sounds like ass and telling me that this is what Dimebag Darrell ripped off. Dude, you're a fucking liar. You're just it's some band that you really like that has a couple slowdown parts. Like, it's with no rhythm at all, no groove. But Exhorder is around. Dude, Exhorder sucks. Shut up.
People love to be contrarians.
And I'm telling you, objectively, I know I'm opinionated on a lot of things. That shit sucked. It wasn't any good at all. And if
I've
it was
never
good,
heard it.
I'd be the first to tell you, like, hey, Stones, check it out. This band predated. I would tell you all about it. No. It was terrible.
You can tell when somebody's blatantly ripping somebody off, okay?
Yeah.
If somebody's playing something now that sounds like something from 30 years ago, though, chances are it's just inspired by that. That's their influence. You do get, like, what was the one that Marvin Gaye's people, the Robin Thicke song, Marvin Gaye's estate sued it. It straight up sounded like a Marvin Gaye song. It was a blatant ripoff, and they lost. They ended up winning the case, Marvin Gaye's estate.
Or Vanilla Ice with
Vanilla Ice was such a ripoff. No,
Yeah,
it
with
was
Queen.
different though. Ting. It was different. Remember the ting. But like, who's the freaking guy that Tom Petty sued a couple years ago?
I know. I was just thinking of that in my mind. That red-haired British dude.
Yeah, Sam Smith.
Yeah.
Does that sound as much like as you?
I thought it was a cover at first when I heard it in the background.
But is it
I thought it was a cover.
really?
Yeah.
I just didn't hear
I thought immediately, that was the first thing I was like, Tom Petty should sue this guy. That was literally the first thought I had.
And
it was the exact same progression, same everything. It was slowed down. Obviously, it was a completely different vibe. But until I heard it in a department store or something like that, where I couldn't make out the lyrics, and I was like, what these aren't this isn't a cover. But I thought it was very similar.
Okay. So difference of opinion there than the Led Zeppelin thing we're not going to get into. The ripping off Spirit.
Is there really?
Yeah,
there's
Spirit
only
was the first few notes.
Yeah.
Sure.
There's only
But
so
after
many
that, it was-
ways you can play certain chords.
Yeah, man. I mean, look. Now, I think the point you were trying to make to me sounds like, look, there's going to be coincidence.
Yeah.
At times, okay. There's only so many chords, but you can tell when it's like, okay, this is too many chords to have followed this same path to be a coincidence. This is something else going on here. Now, in the world of punk rock or the blues. Dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun or da 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 da. You've heard all
That
that
sounds
a
familiar.
million times from a million different fucking bands because
Yeah.
that's what blues guys and punk guys do.
Well, remember when we were in Skarnak, the place we played at we played at the iRock all the time, and the one sound guy didn't like us, so he would intentionally put videos of stuff we sounded like up,
Yeah.
and he'd be like, "Here's the song," and to prove to us that we ripped off. We're like, I've never heard
No,
of this
he'd
shit
play
in
all
my
this stuff
fucking
like,
life
dude.
ever.
He'd play local bands from the early '80s that
He'd be like, "You
we
guys
were
are ripping
2.
off." I'm like, okay, I was 4 years old when this came out. Never heard of it.
It was because it was a band that never broke out of Metro Detroit, but
Yeah, it was like, but I'm ripping off, and then we did that Hot Carl song. Were you song about eating shit?
yeah.
And we thought it was just funny that Pine wrote lyrics about eating shit. Obviously, he doesn't eat
Hot
shit.
Carl, yeah.
But so he put that El Duce guy. You remember that El Duce? And you're ripping him off, and he had a video where he was shitting in a woman's mouth. Not for real, but it was staged.
That was the first
I'm like,
time ever.
and he's like, "Eat my shit," and I'm like, at the time, I had no idea who El Duce was.
No.
Nothing.
The only reason anyone knows who El Duce is because they watched the Kurt and Courtney documentary. That's the only reason anyone knows who he is.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch that. And then he's like,
Well,
and he's,
okay,
and he's,
accepting you, I suppose.
and then after the fact, yeah, I watched it later, but I was like, okay, this is the guy I'm supposedly ripping off, who is completely a fucking drunk heroin addict rolling around on stage. What are you going to tell me next? Some Gigi Allen ripoff? Come on, man.
I was 19 and I never heard the term Hot Carl before, or 20 years old, and I heard that term and I'm like, that's funny. That was the first time I ever heard of it, and then we wrote a song about it, and that was it. I have no idea who.
By the way, El Duce sucks.
Same thing with that. I didn't see Kurt and Courtney until after we had broken up.
Yeah, I'd never heard a single song by El Duce or whatever that band was that he fronted. I still haven't. I only know of what I saw in that fucking documentary, and I wasn't interested. So,
You always I guess the overwhelming thing of it, you always get accused of plagiarism. You get accused of ripping people off and you can't avoid it. There's nothing you can do if you put your art out. This podcast will be accused of ripping off another podcast at some point.
Yeah.
I guarantee it's going to happen. You guys are ripping off 5 Points Boulevard here down in fucking Santa Monica. You're ripping us off. I know it's going to happen. It's coming.
that sounds like it would be a band on the riff.
Yeah.
or something. 3 Days Grace, 3 Doors Down, Parkway Drive.
You made me think what I was going to say.
You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to accuse me of ripping somebody off or us.
yeah.
It's
I don't
happening.
You said 3 Doors Down, and you totally reminded me what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Just regular cover songs, not metal cover songs, but the fucking everybody loved it when it came out, and maybe they still love it. I don't know. I don't listen to Riff anymore. Fucking Shinedown covered "Simple Man" by Leonard Skinner. I fucking hate it. I think it's so over the top and way, way, way too much over the top. I fucking hate it. And everybody's like, "It's so good." I'm like, no, it's fucking terrible. The original is better.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Never
It's been
listened.
years since I heard
You've never heard
It's
it?
been years since I heard the original.
It's,
and I was in a Subway
yeah.
out in Chelsea, Michigan, and I heard the original, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot better than the shit
Dude,
that I hear, because he just sings the song.
Yeah.
He's not like Shinedown guy does a like
did you say you never heard the Shinedown version?
almost like he's an R&B singer.
If it was on a TV commercial or something, I might have heard part of it.
It was on Riff literally all the time.
Dude, anytime music started playing on that radio station, I would tune it out.
You were listening to
or
morning
I would turn it off.
Oh my god.
Drew mic ended, I turned it off.
It just
I don't want to hear double shots of Rush.
Double
no.
shots of Rush, double shots of 3 Days Grace, or whatever shit fucking band.
3
they were
Days
trying to play.
Hinderback.
Yeah.
I would listen to Rush.
Shinedown, I know that Shinedown is one of those bands that I would lump in with a 3 Days Grace, with like all that shit.
That
Like it all
fucking
sounds the same. I couldn't pick one
Barrel
from
of
the
a
other.
45 song that they sang. God, so bad.
Is that who sings that? That's Shinedown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine that guy's voice singing a Leonard Skinner song.
Yeah,
It's,
yeah.
it's just so.
The thing is, like I'm not saying that rock can be salvaged based on my opinion, but some of that shit that they played, I was like, this isn't gonna work, because you got like, I remember Puddle of Mud. They were like at their peak.
Yeah.
They're like all over the radio. It's Puddle of Mud, but like they could like, they'd have to barely sell out like Clutch Cargo. It was like out in fucking Pontiac or something. I was like, okay, rock's about done, man. It's just not
Dude,
doing well.
They were still
It's
on.
just not-
They were still on the radio a little bit, and they played the Stars and Stripes Festival in downtown Mount Clemens. Yeah, which actually there was probably a few thousand people there. It was it was outdoors,
a big crowd,
but it was like really.
I try not to be negative in my life and just shit on people, but I promise we would just shit on everything and be a little bit more of our personalities about shit we hate, and we're doing really well right now.
I would say too, going with the rock, rock being dead or whatever on the radio. I mean, I don't really pay attention to anything that goes on.
There's no reason
on
to.
radio or off. I'm just out of the loop in music on the whole. Now, I have heard of a little band called Greta Van Fleet. Speaking of ripoffs or whatever, right? So they're real popular.
Led Zeppelin,
There's Zeppelin wannabes or
There's
whatever.
some similarities, yeah.
Look, the point I was going to make though is that they're a very popular band. There is a market for rock and roll in popular music. It's just not as big of a market as hip hop, dance, pop music, whatever,
country,
or just like
there is no country music
89X
anymore.
type rock, right? Like I couldn't name a fucking band. I think you know what I'm saying though. Like the more alternative,
I would call it
type
alternative.
shit. I guess
yeah.
that's what Puddle of Mud was. Though I don't know what's happening, and I don't really give a shit. I don't know who's who, what's what.
I don't
The thing
know.
is, though,
And
like,
it's definitely an age thing. We're
It-
our age. We don't know what is current.
and I'm not shitting on the artists are bad themselves. I think something that I would view as totally great, like, oh my god, who are these guys? They wouldn't sell. They would not sell. It's not rock music. It was a thing. It was super popular and super awesome. But it kind of, I don't know, it kind of died after grunge, really. Like, not died totally, but died in a large commercial sense. Is there any band for like post 2000 that could fill like a stadium just themselves, not on a stacked tour?
I can't
Say
think of
like
any right
a
now.
band from post grunge that could fill a like stadium or themselves, not with a stacked tour. Because I know that like DTE, like
get the
they'll have
people.
like.
Nickelback.
Oh, we got great right. We got, but they could put together a show where everyone goes.
I don't know if
know?
they could do it here, right? I mean, maybe they could. I don't know. Like you said, Nickelback, but I don't know. We hate Nickelback.
Right, everybody hates Nickelback, but somehow they still sell out fucking
There's
stadiums everywhere. So I
there's some
believe
Canadians
the
that are
world is
rabid.
made up of a bunch of fucking liars.
Is Nickelback so hated that they're like it's like punk to like Nickelback?
And here's I don't
like
like
if
Nickelback.
you like Nickelback, are you? Is it like punk? Like, yeah, I like Nickelback.
My
man.
thing is, I don't like. I don't know if it's because of the front man or for whatever reason they caught the brunt of it. Maybe it's because they were the most successful. But we were just talking about Shinedown, 3 Days Grace, all those bands.
I think they
none
got-
of them are any better.
No,
They're
they're
all
not.
worse. In fact,
They were. I think you're onto something. I think they got the brunt of all of that hate.
because
No,
they
I
were the
think
most
they-
successful
they're the
of the
focal
Shine
point.
Downs and 3 Days Graces and all those guys.
And-
They're all the same peer group, right? Are they not?
I guess, yeah.
They all are same format, came out around the same time, doing the same kind of shitty fucking butt rock. Nickelback just happened to be the most successful,
Was
and
it-
they had a douchey front man.
I was listening. I was watching this. Why do people hate Nickelback? And this guy got it all wrong, in my opinion, because apparently he's not a rock fan. Because he had one line, and it's the same thing. I went back to the serial killer thing. He brought up the misogyny thing, like he's got songs about women sucking his dick, and he's just such a misogynist. I'm like, dude, have you not listened to any Motley Crue song, or have you not listened to any like? The whole 80s scene that was filling stadiums and everyone loved it was about fucking bitches. That was the whole thing,
Most
right?
music's about, dude.
Yeah, so for them to be like, it's because it's misogyny, it's Chad Crook. Like, no one cares. Like, come on, man.
Actually, I think if more of their songs did have stuff like that, maybe they would be a more entertaining band. Like if they, I honestly, I don't know a lot of their songs. I know probably an album's worth of songs.
I know something about something in your mouth. That's probably the song.
well, that was
he's
the song that was
referencing.
cited.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's got to be, and it's probably one fucking song. But he's like, have you listened to fucking pop music or hip hop or any of the rest of it? That's all talking about like the same shit or worse. My thing is, look, I don't give a fuck about any of it. Honestly, the only music that I even like or listen to or care about at all is soundtracks. Video game soundtracks and TV soundtracks.
Yep.
And that's it.
Oh, I'm telling
that's
you.
like the only, like the Stranger Things theme, Game of Thrones music, Westworld, fucking like the Skyrim soundtrack. That's what's on my fucking iPod, or old 80s wrestling themes and shit like that. I don't give a fuck.
I love a good
about,
soundtrack.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, other than like, you know, the shit I grew up on, I guess that's our age now. We're all like 40 years old and that we don't like shit anymore.
And maybe you're like me too, because like if a soundtrack comes out to a movie and it's all older songs, but it like Guardians of the Galaxy, that
Yeah.
soundtrack was part of that movie. It was
Redbone.
all of it, the whole thing really played to the whole movie perfectly, and that's why I love that soundtrack, because I think of the parts of the movie it went with. It's a fantastic soundtrack, good old song, stuff you didn't hear a lot at that point. Now you hear it all the time because of that movie. That's what I like, is stuff that makes me think of parts in a movie or a show.
I was speaking more about like
I know
the
what you're
original
saying.
scores and stuff,
Yeah.
but I get what you're saying too.
Yeah, I was going on the other actual. You're talking about original
gotta
scores a
call
little
that
bit more. I'm
number.
talking about actual soundtracks. But
But,
Nickelback
like-
though.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Nickelback. All these people are like, I hate Nickelback. Everybody you know hates Nickelback, but the motherfuckers have sold 70 million albums worldwide. They suck. Don't get me wrong. I'm not defending them, but who the hell is lying out there?
Right. Well, that's what I was just saying. Like, you know, somebody's full of shit. Somewhere it became cool to fucking hate on Nickel, but they became a punchline, and everybody. It's like this. You go to Facebook, you go to any social media. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Everybody thinks they're hilarious when they fucking type that. But they're not. They're just typing what they've already read, and they have no original thought in their fucking brain, so
None.
that's their attempt at humor. It's the same thing with Nickelback. That's a punchline that you heard, and you're repeating.
Yep.
I
You
like
know.
to think that my insulting comments, because I don't do the basic stuff, I think my take on insulting comments when someone does something stupid or gets mauled by a line, I like to think I'm a genius. But my 3 likes that I get say otherwise. Then you know what? I genuinely get mad. I guess it's just my competitive nature. But like I'll lay out what I think is a cool comment, and I'll get like a couple likes, and then some fucking nitwit that just, hey yo, some bitch is how my dick, or some stupid fucking comment will get like 5,000 likes. I'm like, are you
too
really,
cerebral.
like,
That's
really,
what it
dude?
is.
Really?
The three of us are too
What
cerebral.
it is, here's the thing about that. If I'm going to give an analysis, it's
I'm better
what
than
it's what
everybody.
resonates with people. So it can be an extremely well thought out, fully formed, like brilliant idea that people latch onto, and congrats. Or it can be something completely moronic that, look, there's a lot more morons out there that are going to resonate with something
Yeah.
dumb. I remember I saw a comment on an Instagram thread. It was somebody took a fucking like spray nozzle and screwed it onto some hydrogen peroxide. Like, look, you can use it like this. And there was a comment that said, better than bleach. 1,486 fucking likes on that. Something in that ballpark, right? That's a very specific number, of course. But what? Why are that many people responding to that comment? Like, okay.
Is it
like,
from something that we're just not understanding?
That's what I was trying to figure out. I'm like, what am I missing here? Like, why do so many people really approve of that comment? It's a very, I guess, could be true. Is peroxide better than bleach? I guess it depends on what you're trying to do with it, but
it's better than what I do. I usually just find some random gift that I think goes along
I get
with
mad.
it.
You know what I know? I'm going to be when I make a Facebook post. No, I don't sit and like monitor my likes or whatever. So I'll say something that I think's like really like thoughtful or whatever, and like nobody gives a fuck. But if I say, "Man, dude, I fucking I farted, almost shit my pants" or something like that, and then everybody loves it. But like I'll make a comment on something and like nobody gives a fuck, and then somebody will like respond to it and be like, "Yeah, but blah," and it's like 27 people liked the comment that was shitting on my fucking post. I'm like, "Fuck you guys, man!"
Yeah,
It's
oh
that
god, that
ego
happens to me
kicks
all
in.
the time.
I just find
You know
some
what-
gift that I think goes along with the subject. I'm always posting gifts.
I hate it because it's kind of a monster I've created. I don't know, like, why it keeps going. I made a few jokes. A few
I know what
jokes
you're going with.
about people being on my lawn.
Yeah.
I cut my lawn. I don't even edge it. I don't trim it. I cut it. That's it.
That's what's weird because
Then it totally became this thing where everyone thinks I'm obsessed with my lawn. Maybe it's because I bitch about fireworks and I seem crabby or whatever, or I seem like a crab ass. But there's this whole thing that so now I feel this pressure
to keep
that I'm gonna like pay a landscaping company to like keep my lawn perfect, so I can just keep it going because I guess that's my thing. Because everyone just does these lawn jokes with me, and if every time someone shoots someone for going on their lawn, I get tagged in it.
I know.
And he's
Great.
like a psycho puts an electrical fence that zaps kids for going on his lawn. I get tagged in it. So I'm the lawn guy now.
It's
So
kinda-
I don't know if I could like. I'm not going to disassociate myself. I'm going to ride with it.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to
Keep
just
going.
fucking totally.
It's a
spend
good thing. Keep it going.
8 hours to fucking. I'm going to make it perfect this year.
See, now
and just keep it going.
it's really weird because that's all you do is cut your lawn. Craig and I are the complete opposite. Like, we cut our lawn, edge, like make like little ravines along the sidewalk and stuff. So we're edging. We literally do everything. And you know how big my lot is.
Yeah.
My lot's fucking huge. Craig does the same thing, and it's like we're like when we get out there, it's like I'm just gonna go out there and cut it. I'm not edging or anything this week. I'm not.
Recorded in the pits of Detroit, Michigan. Your ass is listening to